The 45, Grossman's going to clock it. They'll have a timeout left, and they'll have a chance. Down by 5. 36 seconds remaining. Let's go back to that play by the rookie Michael Johnson getting a start today.
Yeah, really a great job by him, and you're going to see that they get the ball. They come with the corner blitz. They get the ball to Peterson right there, and here's Johnson. And look at all that room out there that Peterson was going to have to run with blockers out in front of him. I mean, that was going to be a foot race to the end zone to see whether or not Peterson was able to get there.
That's going to be a false start. A heavily penalized Bear team today. Already 9 times for 66 yards.
76. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
They get John Tate, the left tackle. So 10 penalties against Chicago today. 2nd and 15. Bears do have a timeout. Grossman fires for Davis. Can't make the catch. Stuck his hands out. Could not make the connection. It's 3rd and 15.
You know, Sam Madison was underneath, and you're going to see he just takes off and goes. Here's Sam Madison. He goes right at the receiver. Never turned to try to even locate the ball. He immediately went right at him, Rasheed Davis, and then just took him to the ground. You know, because they do have the one timeout, Joe, they can work the middle of the field, and you know, usually in these situations, that's where you've got to go.
To the sideline for Berrien off his hands. Johnson there defending, but Berrien had it in his hands or off him. Couldn't make the catch, and now it's 4th and 15.
Yeah, and deja vu going back to last week. On 4th and long against Denver. And Berrien had a chance there to make the play and just off his fingers. But last week they faced a similar situation against Denver, and they had the illegal contact which kept the drive alive, which ultimately allowed them to go in for the tying touchdown. They're going to need to make a play here.
4th and 15. Grossman steps up and hits Muhammad. First down, Chicago, and the Bears will spend their final timeout. 17 seconds left. Big completion by Rex Grossman of 20 yards on 4th and 15.
Well, that's just a great job, and we've seen it from him, as I said. We saw it last week on the throw to Bernard Berrien in the end zone to tie the game, and now at 4th and 15, you know, for him to be able to get that ball in there, Muhammad does a nice job of knowing he's going to take the contact after the catch and hanging on to it as well. I'm a little surprised they weren't running anybody underneath some of those intermediate throws, knowing that that's where they had to get to. You know, it did no good to have linebackers up near the line of scrimmage because the ball had to travel the 15 yards. I think they still have time to work the middle of the field and get a clock to stop the clock, and then one shot into the end zone, but it'll be close.
Blitz from the Giants. Grossman, end zone. Davis out of his reach and out of bounds. 11 seconds left.
Well, now there's no time. I mean, they take the shot into the end zone, and now there's no time if they catch this ball in play for them to be able to get to the line of scrimmage and clock it, or to get another play off. So you've got to guard the goal line if you're New York, and then you want to keep them from being able to get out of bounds if they complete one underneath.
Seconds to go. End zone again. This one falls incomplete. 4 seconds left. And barring a defensive foul, we are down to our final snap. The OT presented by Lowe's is coming up right after the action here. And after that, the All-State BCS selection show. Dockery out there getting the start today in place of the injured Aaron Ross.
if you're able to get Bernard Berrien and Musa Muhammad down into the end zone, and if Rex Grossman can buy enough time to let him get down there, they've got a size advantage over these defensive backs.
Grossman lets it develop, fires for the end zone. It's broken up. There are no flags, and the Giants have come back to beat the Chicago Bears. Butler made the stop on that final throw, and Eli Manning, who was 7 of 9 for 95 yards and a touchdown on those final 2 drives, leads his team to a road win here in Chicago. They didn't lead until the end, and they come out of here with a 5-point win. Take a break and come back and wrap up our day after this.
Out that it was somewhere in the 70s.
Yeah,
which is an absurd number.
475 returns. That was my math, though. You know, it's just my math.
And so we'll see what that game plan is that Joe Gibbs and company have in store. Danny Smith, the special teams coach of the Redskins, no doubt has had several sleepless nights wondering what to do with Mr. Hester.
Well, right now, Hester and Rasheed Davis are kind of mingling in the middle of the field, and I think what they'll do is divide, but they don't want to tell the Redskins which side that Devin Hester is going to go to until the last second.
Sean Sweezum gets us underway. Drills this one, a low runner. It'll be picked up by Hester at the 14. Hester with a small crease gets it back to the 33, and a pretty good job there by the Redskins on coverage. And so the Bears and their offense will take over with decent field position. They'll be led on the field by Rex Grossman. Benched for 6 games at midseason, he is back at the controls of the Bears offense. Since regaining his job, he's thrown just 1 interception. Running back Adrian Peterson gets just the 3rd start of his career tonight. Bernard Berrien is Chicago's deep threat underneath. Look for tight end Desmond Clark to see a lot of action. Chicago's offensive line starting to show some wear. Center Olin Kreutz is the star of the group. He's been to 6 straight Pro Bowls. Grossman will throw on first down, throwing to this side and completing to Musa Muhammad. Pickup of 7 gives us an opportunity to set Washington's defense. The Redskins 4-3 features Andre Carter as the key pass rusher. Their front 4 has been intact pretty much the entire season. Linebacker Rocky McIntosh will bear some watch tonight. He's especially active outside. London Fletcher is their man in the middle. Grossman throwing on second down and completing, as you see the rest of the defenders for the Redskins. Bears going to a hurry up. This is what they employed last week against the Giants, but then backed off of it early in the game.
Yeah, and everybody's still trying to figure out exactly why they did that, because Rex appeared to be much more comfortable in the no huddle.
First down Bears. Peterson will get his first carry of the night and doesn't get much.
Well, for the Washington Redskins, their plan this evening is probably the plan that most people have when they play the Bears. They want to put the ball in number 8's hands. Make him beat them. There's no question that Rex Grossman has played better since coming into the starting lineup after being benched after 3 games earlier this season. But tonight he's going to see some exotic looks out of the Redskins.
Grossman throwing this side. That one falls somewhere between Olsen and Muhammad. Hard to tell exactly who he was looking for. And it'll leave Grossman and the Bears with a 3rd and 10 from the 48.
Yeah, and good news for Redskins fans. Sean Springs is out there. They took him out before pregame warm-up and said, all right, we've got to find out now. Run around a little bit. He had a back problem, and they just wanted to see if he was going to stay loose. He's got a big assignment tonight with Bernard Berrien on the outside. If they're going to play that single coverage that we've seen so far in the game, he's going to have to make some plays.
Sean said Berrien's one of those guys you got to warm up your hammies a lot before the game, otherwise you will pull it. He can go. We'll have our first time out of the night. Grossman came to the line, didn't like what he saw. And so with barely a minute and a half gone in this ball game, we'll take a timeout. No score at FedEx Field. FedEx Field, we'll see what Rex has come up, and alternatively what Greg Williams on the other side of the ball has dialed up.
This is where he likes to blitz, 3rd and long. Here it comes.
Grossman throwing this side low, intended for Bernard Berrien. No catch, incomplete. A lot of pressure that time from LaRon Landry, the rookie safety.
Yeah, as expected, they come with the blitz. And the reason you do this in 3rd and 10 is because basically Rex Grossman has no choice but to throw this hot. He gets it out. Even if it's complete, you make the tackle there short of the first down marker. Great strategy by Greg Williams, something he does often.
Brad Maynard will put it away to Anton Randall L.
To the other end.
Veteran return man out of Indiana is parked at his own 10-yard line. Almost blocked. Randall L. calling for a fair catch at his own 20, and he'll take it there. That was Rock Cartwright who almost got there and almost got a hand on it as Maynard barely got it away. You see Maynard, a little bit of a hitch in his giddy up as he makes his way to the sideline.
I don't know how Rock Cartwright didn't block it, and I don't know how he didn't hit Maynard. I'm not sure on either one of those fronts. I mean, he was literally came right through cleanly. Looked like maybe it got tripped up a little bit right at the end, and his hands literally went around the foot of Maynard. He was right there, and then Maynard somehow managed to get out of the way. Now, had he hit that plant leg and knocked him down, that would have been a 15-yard penalty and a first down.
Redskins take over 1st and 10, their own 20. Campbell, far side, looking for Randall L., but he looked like he wasn't ready for it. Looked like they weren't on the same page, Chris.
Well, Antoine Randall L. coming back from an injury himself. He's been battling some hamstring problems, but just singled up man-on-man coverage on the outside. Tillman in coverage, and he saw the ball, and Randall L. just did not get his head turned around. Pretty good throw that time by Jason Campbell. But if they're going to play like that, bump and run man-to-man, expect Campbell to go at him.
Clinton Portis is the deep back. He'll get his first carry of the night. Skips his way over the 20 to about the 22 before Lance Briggs brings him down. Let's go ahead and set the players on Washington's side of the ball. In his 3rd year out of Auburn, Jason Campbell is the starting quarterback of late. As you can see, he's thrown more times than any quarterback in Redskins history over a 3-game period. Clinton Portis, who just carried, he'll be the workhorse out of the backfield. Lately, he has struggled. Speedy wideout Santana Moss is the Redskins' home run hitter, but it's Chris Cooley who moves the chains. Chris Samuels, standout, all-pro at left tackle. He's the leader of a Washington offensive line that is one of the lightest in the entire NFL. 3rd and long for the Redskins on their first possession of the night. Liddell Betts has checked in the ball game, but Campbell will throw with time over the middle, in and out of the hands of Chris Cooley. Sorry, that was Betts. And so the Redskins will be forced to punt. Yet another 3 and out for this Bear defense that leads the NFL in that department.
Which doesn't make any sense at all when they lead 3 and out, and yet they can't do anything else defensively. They must be giving up some long drives. Speaking of long drives, how about a short drive? Devin Hester out there.
Derek Frost angles this one away from Hester, and this one will go out of bounds. The Bears are going to wind up with good field position. Let's see where they say this one went out. He keeps walking it up to just shy of the 40-yard line. The Bears will take over at their own 39 when we come back. Following the 17th punt, Chicago's opponents, and yes, that leads the league, not surprisingly. The Bears offense will take over at the 39.
Why did I feel like going boo? I want to watch him play too.
You and 90,000 fans. Hester is in on the offensive side of the ball. That's him split to the far side. This is Adrian Peterson looking for running room, getting about 5 yards before he's stacked up. Jason McKee leading him off the left side.
Well, for Rex Grossman, it's been a strange run so far, hasn't it? I mean, here he is. He goes to the Super Bowl a year ago. They lose that game, but he's 19-10 as a starter for the Chicago Bears. And you say, yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, that is pretty good, especially when you consider they're 22-25 when anybody else starts since they drafted him. So he has done a lot of good things. I think he can do some things even better, but he has won.
Hester this time is split to this side, and they'll work away from him and work for a first down. You know, part of the attention that came to Grossman was because the Bears had such enormous success last year, and so he became kind of a national whipping boy. But the reality is these games, as we come down to the end of this season, are almost an audition for Rex Grossman's continued presence in Chicago.
Yeah, it's a contract year for him. So right now, Lovie Smith and the Chicago Bears have to decide, is Rex Grossman our quarterback of the future? And I think a large part of that decision-making process is going to be made over this last quarter of the season. They want to see what he can do. He's thrown more passes in the last 3 games than at any point in his career.
And as we said at the top, only 1 interception. He'll throw over here, but he and Hester were not working the same play, that's for sure. He had some pressure in his face that time for outside linebacker Marcus Washington. Since you're a Gator, I'll make this note about Grossman only because we've come full circle. With Team Tebow as a sophomore poised to be a finalist for the Heisman. Rex Grossman as a sophomore was actually the Heisman runner-up in 01 as a Florida Gator.
You know, those Gators are pretty good.
Well, some of them.
Some of them are.
He lost that year to Eric Crouch. You think Tebow gets it?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
2nd and 10. Bears with 2 tight ends. In and out of the hands this time of Desmond Clark. London Fletcher was all over Clark. And Grossman staying down on the turf. Cornelius Griffin was the man who put him there. Grossman had a lot of pressure right up in his face and threw this one. Could have been completed easily to Clark, but Clark couldn't seem to grab the handle on it, get a second look at it.
Cornelius Griffin going to come second in from the left and working against Terrence Metcalf, who just simply, I think, maybe tripped over Olin Kreutz. And you can see how that left leg buckled underneath him. Rex Grossman has seen a lot of pressure. Oh, that looks terrible. That looks terrible. Let's hope he's okay.
The backup is Brian Greasy, who played some games in the middle of their season. You can see him getting warm on the side. Kyle Orton is their 3rd quarterback. He's actually the one who's had the most success when Grossman's been out of the lineup. It was Orton who won 10 ball games at this club 2 years ago, including 8 straight. But he did so with a quarterback rating that was abysmal.
You know, this is a really sad thing. I talked to Rex a little bit earlier this week, and I know Cornelius Griffin feels badly about it. Nobody ever wants to hurt another player in the NFL. But Rex was saying, you know, early in the season when I got a chance to start in those games, I just wanted everything to be perfect, and I felt so much pressure, and I wanted it to be just so exact all the time, and playing this position is just not like that. It just doesn't happen that way. He said, then I went to the bench, and Brian Greasy came in, and he got a chance to play, and I got a totally different perspective on the game, so that when he came back in this time and started playing, he felt like he was having fun again. He was getting butterflies before the game in anticipation of getting a chance to play, and he just feels so much happier when he's out there on the field playing the game. So let's hope he's okay, gets a chance to come back in.
He seems to be walking fairly well to the sideline. This is a guy, don't forget, who suffered a broken ankle just 2 seasons ago that shortened his season. He's had some problems staying healthy.
Yeah, the first 3 seasons, as a matter of fact, he never played more than 3 games, so he's been in and out of the lineup. But I got news for you. Anybody was going to get hurt on that hit right there.
And so Brian Greasy comes in at the Redskin 48, but facing a 3rd and 10. Greasy, a 10-year veteran out of Michigan. Will throw, screens this one inside. It's dropped. Was trying to screen Adrian Peterson, but Peterson was in traffic and never really got both hands on it.
You know, and it's a timing sort of play, and it's just so difficult for the backup quarterback who never gets any snaps in practice. He probably goes the whole week, and certainly this week would have gotten absolutely none because of the shortened week. And you have to just kind of go in and get by on Guile. Luckily, he's played so much this season, it should be a little easier for Greasy than some.
Brad Maynard with his 2nd punt of the night. Don't forget his first one was almost blocked by Rock Cartwright. He has better time this time and tries to angle this one away from Anton Randall. Gets a favorable bounce. It'll bounce inside the 10 and come to rest just inside the 8-yard line. And so with 10:31 to play in our first period, we've still no score between the Bears and the Redskins here at FedEx Field. First game, Rex Grossman has taken a hit from Cornelius Griffin. Although he made his way to the sidelines, he has left the field. We are being told it's a knee and he will not return. It looked like it was an ankle, but they are telling us it's a knee. This is Portis, and he's stopped in the backfield. Gives us an opportunity to set the Bears' defense. Good stop there by Agunlier. We've talked about the Bears defense being a problem. It's long been a team strength, but they've struggled this year. The 4 guys up front get after the passer well enough, but they have had trouble all year long stopping the run. Linebackers Lance Briggs on the outside, Brian Urlacher in the middle are still the keys to the unit. We'll call their names a lot tonight. The Bears will start 2 rookies in the secondary. Safety Brandon McGowan out of Maine makes just his second start. Trumaine McBride, another rookie, makes a start at a corner. And Campbell completes his first pass of the night to Santana Moss, but he'll be short of the markers. It'll leave them 3rd and short.
Yeah, we're seeing the Redskins come out now in a hurry-up offense of their own. They have their receivers back healthy really for the first time in some time as a group. Santana Moss, I talked to him before the game, says he's feeling good. Antoine Randall says he's feeling better than he has, and they're going to try and take advantage.
Rashae Caldwell has checked in the ball game. He's at the bottom of the screen, but it's Portis who will get it, and he will not make it back to the first down marker. Looked like Israel Adonijah was the first Bears defender to get there.
Just a tremendous play by Israel Adonijah that time, working against Stephen Heyer, is going to just break right through the middle of the line of scrimmage and just spin off the block, force his man back into the running back, and make the play.
And that man Hester is front and center once again, this time at his own 40-yard line. Derek Frost will punt this one again, aiming for the near sideline. Hester will get a chance to return it from his own 40. Hester looking for room, not finding much, crosses it into Redskins territory before he's brought down at about the 46-yard line. That's where the Bears will take over. Brian Griese at the controls of the Bears offense when we come back.
NFL Network is like nothing else. Verizon Wireless.
Over at FedEx Field, Brian Griese has come on in relief of Rex Grossman, who's been taken to the locker room. Griese has actually had 6 starts this year and has thrown only 2 fewer passes than Grossman all year. So it's not like he hasn't had work. He gives it this time to Adrian Peterson. We get that look one more time at Rex Grossman's injury. This looked a lot worse than it turned out to be from what we know already.
Yeah, watch the center. Olin Kreutz is simply going to step on the foot of Terrence Metcalf. And as he did that, Metcalf just couldn't go anywhere. And you say, well, that's bizarre. But it happens more than you think in the league. Those linemen are taught to take that drop step back. And more often than you would imagine, they step on each other's foot. And then plays like that happen, unfortunately.
Griese to throw on 2nd and 7, swings it wide to Clark, and he's chased out of bounds and would appear to be just about a yard short of the first down. Reed Doughty pushed him out there. It's Doughty who is playing in the safety position that was occupied by Sean Taylor.
Yeah, and it's so hard. You see the 21 there on the jersey, and it's so hard not to think of Sean Taylor here, and it's not fair to Reed Doughty to in any way compare them. But Sean physically, it was just one of those marvels. He was big, he was a huge hitter, he could play man coverage, he could run with anybody. Remarkable athlete.
3rd and short for the Bears. Peterson looking for it off the left side. Would appear to have the first down. Indeed, he does.
Adrian Peterson's running hard so far in this ball game for Lovie Smith. He is a guy that I thought a week ago in the game, he put up some pretty good numbers in the game, but when I went back and watched the game tape, there were 2 or 3 plays where if he could have broken an arm tackle, he could have had some 40 and 50-yard game-changing kind of plays, but he was brought down just a little bit too easily on
the screen pass at the end of the ball game is the one of note. That could have won the ball game, in fact. Griese throws on 1st down, near side. Mark Bradley with his first catch of the night. See Sean Springs on the coverage there.
You know, and the one thing that you always get out of Griese, who was a Pro Bowler himself back in 2000, so he's had some good moments as well, is a guy that is going to read the defense very quickly. And if Rex Grossman, if I have an issue with him, sometimes he doesn't get the ball out quickly enough. Where now the Redskins have been preparing all week for a guy that they're expecting to hold the ball. Now you get Griese, who gets it out very quickly.
He'll give it to Peterson, looking for running room inside again and finding none.
All week, like 2 days. And they don't even practice. There's Greg Williams, the defensive coordinator. And his plan for tonight was, you know, I'm going to try and put the ball in Rex Grossman's hand. Now my question is he still trying to keep the ball in Brian Griese's hand? But The one guy he was so excited to have on this football team this year was London Fletcher, a guy that could make all the calls on the field and be like a coach out there. Has made a huge difference for this defense from this year to last.
3rd and 5 for the Bears. Greasy will throw for it. Lofton this one, near side, completes it to Berrien. They're calling him out of bounds. They're saying he did not get both down. Not much discussion on that one from Berrien.
As a receiver, your only chance on a play like that is to try and collapse at the catch. In other words, just literally collapse your body just as you're getting ready to catch the football and see if you can't just fall underneath that one. There he tried to make the running catch. Right foot clearly out of bounds. Close, but didn't work.
And so Robbie Gould, with our first scoring opportunity of the night, will try for a 48-yard field goal. He is 9 of 10 from inside the 50 this year. This one's low. It's going to come up short. Hard to tell if someone got a hand on that one.
I think they did right up the middle, where they always try and get that double push. They get the initial wave, and then the second wave comes in and gets the block.
Kendrick Golston is taking congratulations for it. We'll get a better look at it when we come back to FedEx Field. Scoreless game. What was not readily apparent to confirmed by a snap shot. It was Cedric Golston who got his hand on that 48-yard field goal attempt. Now the Bears leaving this one a scoreless game, so Clinton Portis tries to get the Redskins offense going and not finding much on the left side.
My favorite thing is to hear defensive linemen tell stories about what they just did on the field. So, nobody has more fun on the football field than defensive linemen as a group. If you walk around the meeting rooms, there's more noise coming out of their meeting room than there is anybody else.
Yeah, man, that long snapper, I just dusted him.
That'll go on for weeks, that story.
Campbell trying to screen far side to Portis. He's got him. And for the first time this evening, the Redskins move it into Chicago territory. Adewale Ogunleye being given credit for the takedown on that side.
Kind of bizarre. There was nobody coming off the edge whatsoever. They had a little stunt moving down inside, and so you can see there's just simply nobody out there to try and contain Clinton Portis. Big first down.
Good pursuit by Ogunleye. 1st and 10 Redskins. Campbell completing to Cooley. Another first down, Washington.
I think this Jason Campbell has so many good things going for him. I really do. You can tell he's well coached. He was coached by his dad for a long time in high school. Watch him step up, deliver the football clearly before Chris Cooley had turned around. That's one of the things they're really trying to work on him with. Don't always just rely on your strong arm. Anticipate these routes.
They'll mix it up inside and give it to Portis. Cooley's been a busy man with Campbell. Cooley with 21 receptions over these last 3 ball games. He has been Jason Campbell's favorite target.
Well, and you know why? Because he practices. So many of the other receivers on this team have been dinged up and injured, so they haven't been able to practice with him. And Jason's still a young quarterback. He's developing, but that's the one guy that week in and week out has practiced with him, so he's most comfortable.
2nd and 7, Portis the lone deep back as Campbell operates from the gun and throws this side in and out of the arms of Cooley. Brandon McGowan on the coverage there.
Al Saunders, the offensive coordinator, he knows his quarterback.
All right, now I let you get away with calling Greg Williams the defensive coordinator, Al Saunders the offensive coordinator. That's not their official titles.
What are they?
We got a lot of official titles here. Well, he's technically the associate head coach in charge of offense. And technically, the offensive coordinator is Don Bro.
Okay, so Al Saunders, the offensive coordinator, has been working.
It's the same thing. Greg Williams, the associate head coach in charge of the defense, but Greg Blosch is defensive coordinator.
Does that mean you get paid more?
I don't know. They pay a lot of coaches here. Campbell completes this one short of the markers once again to Cooley, and once again it's Brendan McGowan on the coverage.
Well, that time the Bears came with a little pressure off of that side. I don't know if that was a hot read or a full route, but Cooley came up a little short of the marker, and perhaps it was a hot read. And you get trained when you see the blitz and you get the hot read, take it to 5 yards and turn around. But that time in sort of a 3rd and 6 or 7 situation, got to go get the first down.
Bears had their 48-yard field goal block. Sean Sweezum will try it from the same distance. And this one's good. No, it's not. My bad.
Just short.
Just short. And so both teams trying a 48-yard field goal in an effort to get on the board here. In the case of Robbie Gould, it was blocked. In the case of Sweezum, this one came up just a tad short on what is a cold night at FedEx Field.
I hope you took the under in the office score.
Well, they're saying it's 26 degrees, but you and I were down on the field a little bit earlier. It's frigid.
Yeah, we wrapped things up pretty quickly down there, didn't we? It was good to see Dion and Marshall and the guys, but we were out of there.
Good to see them briefly. This one's batted down in the backfield. Hard to tell if it was Rocky McIntosh or Andre Carter who got the arm up. Don't forget, next week the run of the playoffs continues next Thursday. We're going to be down in Houston with the Broncos and the Texans in an AFC showdown. That's next Thursday at 8 o'clock Eastern on NFL Network. Bears go to the hurry up again. And this will be Peterson again trying the right side. The Bears continuing to have difficulty running the football.
It's just hard to recognize this football team, isn't it? Of course, they've been through a lot of guys. Thomas Jones in the offseason, they make the deal with the Jets. He goes over there. Cedric Benson, who was supposed to be the heir apparent, came in and was really ineffective. I mean, maybe,
you can be honest, he was lousy.
He was just not very good. It was hard to pick a category to say, okay, he at least does that well.
3rd and 8. Greasy under pressure. Gets it from all sides. Brought down at the 32. I think Andre Carter was the first one there.
Once again, when you get these 3rd and long situations with Greg Williams, you can just bet they're going to come, and they're going to keep coming until you can do something to make a play against them. Again, if you can't run the football, you've got to come back in these 3rd and longs. Here comes everybody. You have no choice but to try and get it out of there. Good man coverage down the field. Until they hit a big play, Greg Williams will not stop coming.
Brad Maynard on for the 3rd time tonight. Randall L. will try to field this one and does at the 27. Interestingly enough, how things work out. We look at Anton Randall L. with that punt right there. You got to remember in 2005, after he winds up winning the Super Bowl with the Steelers, he's a Chicagoan. There was great talk about the Bears signing him, and they thought they were going to. He winds up going to the Redskins. Had the Bears signed him, it's very doubtful they would have drafted Devin Hester.
So happily ever after.
Happily ever after.
But Antoine Randall has been a good player here, and he's an exciting player, but I think Devin Hester may be the featured attraction.
But you got to believe if they had signed Randall L., they wouldn't have drafted Hester.
I think you're right, because he would have handled the kick return duties.
Liddell Betts has checked in the ball game. He's lined up behind Campbell. And it's Betts coming this side, taking a swing pass, but being stopped behind the line by Adam Archuleta. Ex-Redskin getting a rare touch on the field.
Yeah, Adam Archuleta, of course, had to go to Sean Taylor's funeral as well. Former teammate, friend, all those sorts of things. But it has been a tough year for Adam Archuleta. Basically, he signed a big free agent deal with the Redskins, came over here, was benched, signed a big free agent deal to go to the Chicago Bears, was the starter until last week, was benched. He just has not made the same sort of plays on defense that he did for Lovie Smith in St. Louis.
Loss of 2 on the play. Campbell with nowhere to go. Wrapped up, and I think Mark Anderson was the first one to get there. Yeah, Mark says, I was first. I was first.
Don't know exactly what they had in mind there. That almost looked like a busted play. They had some sort of a either a quarterback run, or maybe the back couldn't get out on a screen pass to the left. You can see Liddell Betts in there trying to get it, but when he got tangled up, there's really nowhere to go for Jason Campbell.
And so it's 3rd and long, and this is something the Bears defense has been good at all year. Best in the NFL in 3rd and long situations. Hold on, we've got a couple of yo-yos on the field. So we'll try not to show that to you. The Bears defense, we've talked about their problems, but they're good on 3 and outs. They lead the league in 3 and outs, and they're good on 3rd and longs.
Yeah, they must be really lousy in between.
Yeah, it's a little strange.
I think Lovie Smith said, did you see that hit by that guy? We might want to think about adding him on second down here every once in a while. That's too bad. I don't know how people can get through all the security they have on the field. We've even seen it in Super Bowls, and for the players, it can be a little frightening at times.
Well, what's interesting also is to our right, Redskins owner Daniel Snyder is standing up. He is seated right next to Commissioner Roger Goodell. I'm sure he could have lived without this evening also. Well,
he is going to have a long stay somewhere a lot more uncomfortable than he would have had otherwise. And
there's a look at Dan Snyder and his Commissioner Goodell to his right.
Well, and security is such a big issue. When you put 80,000 people in one place, and one knucklehead causes those kinds of problems, it can be a concern. I mean, I don't know how you could possibly keep a place secure entirely. You just can't do that. So you have to have good police officers like that can make quick moves and handle the situation.
All right, order has been restored. Let's set it once again. The Redskins facing a 3rd and 16 from their own 20-yard line with just 11 seconds to play in this first period. This will be our final play of the period. Campbell throwing, completing. First down, Antoine Randall. And on that note, we will end the quarter. Big first down for the Redskins. Randall, who was a game-time decision. We weren't even sure he was going to play tonight, but he picks up a big first down, pickup of 22. And so the Redskins will change ends with the Bears. They've got a first down when we come back in a scoreless game at FedEx Field.
Away from those throws or back up into it, and they don't give their tackles a chance.
Big first down pickup for the Redskins. This ball batted at the line of scrimmage. I think that was Alex Brown who got up and got both hands on it.
Alex Brown, a guy that had been a starter here for a long time, but Mark Anderson ended up taking his starting spot this year, and some discussion about whether or not Mark Anderson was the guy is he better in that KGB pass rushing role or playing every down, but really they play about the same number of snaps.
Campbell with a lot of time completes this one to Portis, and he's got some running room, and he's close to the first down marker before Lance Briggs drags him down in Bears territory.
Pretty good thing for a young quarterback to learn as well is that Clinton Portis can play. Sometimes the best plays in the world are when you just take the ball and dump it off to a great athlete underneath. And a lot of questions about the numbers of Clinton Portis this year, but you put on the tape, he can still play.
Well, this is Portis again. It was Alex Brown working down from his defensive end slot, coming down the line of scrimmage and grabbing Portis. And we've got another Bear down at midfield. Let's see if we can ID the Bear who's down on the field. Looks like Antonio Garay.
Well, they are having a tough time at defensive tackle this year. Anthony Adams not playing in this game with an elbow injury. They like to use a 3-man rotation in there at that defensive tackle. Tommy Harris has been playing on a bad left knee almost the entire season and just has gutted it out. Darwin Walker has not been anywhere close to what the Bears had hoped he would be from a pass rushing standpoint or a nose tackle position or playing the 3 technique. So this one hurts.
It does indeed. We'll come back and check Garay's status right after a commercial break.
And hot, and I think he has every right to be. Chris Samuels right there is going to come down on him. Now, I hate to tell you this, Bryant, but this is a totally legal play. Takes out his knee. That is the clip zone. And when you're running the football, the NFL, in all their wisdom, has determined that that is a legal play. Teams have voted year after year to keep that illegal play, and year after year, we have seen defensive linemen go out. That's something that eventually has to be addressed in this game. It just has no place. Safety of the players has to come first.
Garay will not be returning the game, it would seem. He was taken off on the car, completes this one. Chris Cooley deep into Bear territory, gets it down to the 22-yard line. Big strike by Campbell.
Tremendous block that time by Clinton Portis right here. who's going to come over here and make the block all the way across. That's what you get when you get a veteran back there in the backfield. They can read the defensive fronts as well as anybody. He understood his problem was on the left side, goes all the way across, and a big first down.
Redskins in a hurry up first down. This one to Moss. On the near side, it's Tillman coming up in a hurry.
Santana Moss has been, in my opinion, the missing part of the puzzle this year. Even though he's been able to play in games, he hasn't been healthy. He had a heel injury. His foot stayed so swollen he couldn't even put on a shoe half the time. But he is the big play weapon on this team that they have sorely missed.
Portis skipping to his left and looking for room. He's going to come up at least 2 yards short of the first down markers. But again, it goes back to what you were saying earlier. His workload has been diminished because he's been hurt. And so Campbell has not gone to him as often because he hasn't been able to practice with him.
And they haven't had the time working together. But you go back to 2005, Santana Moss had 1,483 yards. In the 2 years since, he hasn't gotten to there. He hasn't had that many yards. So he really has hurt them.
Call it 3rd and 3. Campbell completes this one inside, but they're going to come short of the marker again. It was to Portis one more time, and once more it was Alex Brown being credited with the stop. The word we are getting on Gray is an ankle injury, and he is out.
It's too bad. I can hear Howie Long screaming all the way from Virginia about those plays. He's been lobbying for years to eliminate that clip zone where it's legal to clip somebody, because so often you see those guys carted off the field in that situation.
This will be Sweezum from 37. His second attempt of the night. His first from 48 came up just a tad short. This one looks like it's going to be wide left. Sweezum misses a field goal from 37 yards, and so we remain scoreless. Bears-Redskins at FedEx Field. All over the Redskins in Washington, beat them 73-0. And get this, they had met earlier in the year and the Redskins had won 7-3.
Really? Where were your tickets that day?
Thank you so very much. Actually, you know what? For a time I lived across the street from Griffith Stadium here in this town when I was a kid. Long, long, long ago. Adrian Peterson stopped for almost no gain. Cornelius Griffin combining with Fred Smoot on the stop.
You know, it was such an emotional game last week against the Buffalo Bills after the death of Sean Taylor. And out of all the guys I watched on tape, I thought Fred Smoot played with more emotion and played better than I've seen him play in a long time.
Greasy will throw the far side for Olsen, their top draft pick, and he's stopped right there by London Fletcher. This Bears offense finding difficulty gaining any kind of traction.
And London Fletcher, to me, has made such a difference with this team. Greg Williams, the defensive coordinator, went on and on and on about all the things he could do defensively. He said half the times, I don't even signal anything in. I'll tell him on the sideline before the series, we're thinking about doing this. And then he'll look over and he'll go, just nod. And he knows exactly what I want against the formation. He's been brilliant.
That throw looked like it could have been ticked before it got to Williams. In any event, it leaves Greasy with 3rd and long, and he'll throw this side for Berrien. And Berrien skipping his way close to the marker before he's popped by LaRon Landry.
Wow. LaRon Landry is the one that has made the move to free safety because of Sean Taylor. And that is a first down. Nice play design by the Bears. They anticipated the blitz that time, got the quick screen out, but LaRon Landry is going to be one of those guys we're going to enjoy watching for a long time. He's tremendous.
Well, the Bears are determined to try to run this, but they're not getting much with it. Peterson with his 9th carry of the night.
Well, and you know, they have to, though. That's the problem, because if you don't run it and you just sit there and you try and throw it all night, you're eventually going to be in those 3rd and long situations. I've never seen a team that went from being okay running the ball to this poor so quickly.
The Bears continue at the hurry up, and Greasy trying to screen to Peterson. Completes it, and Peterson works his way close to the marker. Looks like he stepped out just shy of a first down. Of course, that yellow line is not official, as you know.
Yeah, and it's going to bring up a 3rd and short situation, which brings up another stat. Isn't the Chicago Bears are one of the top teams in the league in 3rd and 1? A team that hasn't had much success running the football, and yet on 3rd and 1, they have the highest percentage in the NFL. So They're good at short runs.
16 of 17 converting 3rd and 1 this season. They're 1 for 1 at it tonight. Go figure. They can't run the ball, but they can when it's 3rd and 1. Greasy will keep it himself and would appear to have the first down.
A little like Tom Brady there, just going to do it himself. How about that game the other night, though?
Well, did you see that Brady evidently said that he heard the whistle, he would have had the first down?
Oh, yeah. And he
That's
said
what
his
he said.
offensive line heard the whistle, too.
That's what he said. What can I tell you?
Now, he didn't say if he heard it falling on his back or not, but that looked like a pretty good defensive stand there. But I tell you, to Tom's credit, I have not seen him stopped ever on a short yardage situation like that with the quarterback sneak, so maybe he knows more than we do.
First down Bears, the 48. Greasy will throw, and completing this one to Muhsin Muhammad, the 12-year veteran out of Michigan State, gets him close to another first down.
Pretty impressive here by Brian Greasy that he's able to effectively run this no-huddle offense, knowing that he hasn't had much practice in it in the last couple of weeks.
Peterson again. Stopped behind the line of scrimmage. Looks like a loss of 2. Don't forget, coming up next, it's the Wendy's halftime report. Rich, Dion, Marshall, Steve. That's Steve. It sounds funny to call him Steve. Mooch. They'll have highlights and analysis, and Rodney Harrison of the Patriots will join the guys to discuss the Pats' run for a perfect season. Greasy completing this one to Olsen, and we've got a flag down here, our first flag of the night. Our referee is Jerome Boger.
Nice read on the hot read that time by Brian Greasy to at least apparently pick up the first down. We'll see how this goes.
Well, Fred Smoot is over here having some words, and
it may have been one of those illegal contact situations on the other side of the field.
Yeah, they're doing a lot of pointing towards Smoot. Let's hear it.
There are 2 fouls on the play. 12 men, defense, offside, defense. The 5-yard penalty will result in a first down.
So the Bears mounting what is their best drive of this second quarter. They've worked their way just shy of the 40-yard line in Redskin territory. And Greasy's got this hurry-up offense humming a little bit now. They seem to have found some rhythm.
Look out.
And just as I say that, he gets pressure from his right. Marcus Washington drops him for a 4-yard loss. Looked like Washington beat Miller on the far side.
Now Marcus Washington's going to come all the way around the edge here and come up with that sack. They just didn't see it at all. I don't know if he was supposed to throw hot there or not, but Marcus Washington plays the down defensive end when they get in their nickel situation, so he knows how to get after the quarterback. That's a pretty natural position for him coming in.
It'll leave the Bears with second. They're calling it 15, loss of 5. Peterson continues as the lone back. He gets it. Sidesteps one tackler, but then brought down again at just about the 41-yard line. I think that was Fred Smoot coming up and doing an arm tackle on Peterson. And this is exactly what you were talking about last week, an arm tackle.
Yeah, and this time he's able to shoot through there. A lot of times when you get in long yardage situations, the pass rushers get up the field around the end, and it creates some running lanes. Good call by the Bears.
And Greasy and Mark Bradley, well, they're running different plays.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if the ball got hit or exactly what happened, but they had it. They had a slant. And again, Greg Williams coming with huge pressure on 3rd and long in that situation. That's what happens. If you have one negative play against this Redskins team, they're going to come get you. The Bears, on the other hand, typically when they get in their 3rd and longs, they drop back and play zone.
And so the very busy Mr. Maynard will come on once again. Antoine Randall L is set up at his own 10-yard line. Maynard has time and gets this one away. Randall L will let it bounce past him and bounces into the end zone. The Bears were in position to down that one inside the 5, but it slipped past them. Corey Graham let it get past him. Redskins will be at their 20 when we come back.
Alex Klein is
In a the Bears had a chance to pin the Redskins deep in their own territory, but it skipped past Corey Graham, and so it's been brought out to the 20, and from there the Redskins offense will go back to work. Fakes right, Campbell with time, now being pursued by Mark Anderson. He'll throw this one away. It was Anderson who flushed him out of the pocket. Campbell couldn't find anyone.
Well, he was trying to go to the backside. He was going to pump fake this way and go back to Antoine Randall across the way, but he had gotten pushed out of bounds, which made him an ineligible receiver. You see right there, once you go out of bounds, play over. So Jason Campbell really had no choice whatsoever. Tremaine McBride, the rookie who is now playing and starting at the cornerback position, with a nice job.
And the Bears have now had to move Israel Adonijah inside because Garay was taken to the locker room with that knee injury. Campbell now moving to his left. Ball comes loose but out of bounds. Brandon McGowan came up with the stick. And Campbell has had a hard time hanging on to the football this year.
And he looks like he's a little sore. He's holding that right arm and he's signaling for somebody to come in for him. He's coming out. He's going to take a knee, and that right arm is just not working. So not a good night for quarterbacks here this evening.
You see Todd Collins. Mark Brunell, the veteran left-hander, is listed as the third quarterback tonight. It would be Collins, the 13-year veteran, who would get the call. This doesn't look serious, but you called it correctly. As Campbell rolled to his left, took a shot from McGowan. May have a bit of a stinger. We'll check it out when we come back.
It's the season to shop.
Do you buy Sears? Don't just give a gift, grant a wish. GMC, official vehicle of the NFL and proud supporter of those who wanted more.
After taking a shot on his throwing arm, Jason Campbell has gone to the sidelines, and it's Todd Collins who's been brought on in relief. A little bit of symmetry here. Collins completing his first throw of the year to Rashay Caldwell. We get another look at the hit, and it looked like Brandon McGowan was the one who came up and laid his helmet right on Campbell's elbow.
And you could tell by the way he came out of there that he just had no feeling in that arm. He was just shaking it, trying to get the sort of like hopefully get hit on the funny bone, but I don't know.
Well, how weird is this? Grossman goes out and Greasy comes in. Campbell goes out and Collins comes in. Greasy backed up Collins at Michigan. Maynard will punt this one away, and Devin Hester is saying, everybody get away. This one will bounce out of bounds, and the Bears once again will get good field position. It's been a field position game tonight. 5 minutes left in the second quarter. No score. Left in the first half. It's the Washington Redskins nothing, Devin Hester nothing.
I think we
had a lot going on. You see Jason Campbell there on the sidelines kind of flexing his right arm. It does not look serious. Brian Greasy throwing on first down was trying for Desmond Clark. Good coverage there by Reed Doughty.
It's pretty much on first down, man-to-man coverage all over the field right now. If the Chicago Bears can make a play, I almost anticipate maybe they're going to bring Greg Olsen in, who's a little slicker receiver than Desmond Clark, maybe a little quicker. Give him a chance to run some of those one-on-one routes on first down.
Olsen remains in the sidelines for the time being. They'll try Peterson once more, and the Bears are determined to find some running room, but so far tonight, they've been unsuccessful.
Well, and there's a lot of reasons for it, but, you know, obviously different looks, and this offensive line's getting a little older. Reuben Brown's on injured reserve, and he's always been the guy that was the power in that power O play that the Bears love to run the football, where they pull the left guard around and run up behind the right guard. And so it's just not the same offensive line. It's not the same backs, and it hasn't worked.
We've got to believe they'll be throwing here on 3rd and 8. Greasy screening to Peterson. We've got a flag. Peterson in the arms of LaRon Landry as he crosses the 40, but we've got a flag back upfield. And this one looks like it's going to come back.
Ineligible receiver downfield. Offense, number 60. 5-yard penalty. Replay 3rd down.
They're flagging Terrence Metcalf, who was just in front of Peterson as he caught that one.
You know what happened to him, though? I think his center pushed him. Olin Kreutz was trying to get him out of the way, so that he could go block for the screen. He's going to give him a shove, and then he ends up illegally down the field.
Well, he had company. Tate was right next to him. Good call, partner. So that'll make it a 3rd and 13. Makes Greasy's assignment all that more difficult.
Look out. Here they come.
Gets it out quickly. Far side for Rasheed Davis. But that one falls incomplete. And so the Bears will have to call on Mr. Maynard once again.
Once again, they overload one side. And if you don't check your protection that way, the quarterback knows at that moment he has to get it out. He doesn't have enough human bodies over there to make that block. So just by blitzing, they win the battle.
Redskins figure to come out of this one with good field position. Antoine Randall will have some room as he feels at his own 29. Tries to slip a tackler this side, but he's chased out of bounds at the 32-yard line. Let's go down there. Adam Schefter is right on that sideline. Adam?
Thanks very much, Brian. After Sean Taylor passed away, Redskins owner Daniel Snyder handled the situation just the way the Redskins would have hoped. He chartered 3 different planes, one 747 for the entire organization to head to Florida on, and 2 private planes, one for the offensive coaching staff, one for the defensive coaching staff, and that was designed so that each coaching staff could work on their game plan for tonight's game. Also, Daniel Snyder has contributed $500,000 to a fund for Sean Taylor's 1-year-old daughter.
We should also note that all of the profits from sales of Sean Taylor's number 21 jersey will go to a trust fund for his daughter, Jackie. And those jerseys continue to sell as Taylor, oddly enough, continues to be the leading vote getter at his position for the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, my guess is he will win that honor. Chris Cooley now coming off as the war of attrition continues, but
Todd Yoder has checked in his place. Campbell throwing this side for Antoine Randall, but that was wide of the mark. We don't know if that's the elbow or if it was just a different idea than Randall had.
You know, I want to go back for just a moment, and the NFL, I agree sometimes with them, I don't, but I guarantee you that Daniel Snyder will take care of that young lady, Sean Taylor's daughter, in a way that has never been done before. When tragedy strikes this league, the owners and this league has a way of stepping up and making things as right as they possibly can.
Campbell under heavy pressure gets it off to Liddell Betts, but he's going to be short of the marker. And Campbell is down for the second time tonight, this time gripping his left knee.
This has been incredible.
The pressure came from Mark Anderson on that side.
Oh, jeez.
And that does not look good. Not unlike the hit that Grossman took.
And there's absolutely nothing cheap, illegal. It's just people playing football and getting in an unfortunate position. This has been incredible so far tonight. The number of star players that we've seen hurt in this game so far.
Grossman was the first to go down, and then Antonio Garay inside for the Bears, and then the Redskins started piling up with theirs. Campbell went to the sidelines with an arm injury, and then Chris Cooley went to the sidelines with what appears to be a leg injury of some sort, and now Campbell is down, and they're bringing the cart on the field. This is not good. With 2:49 to play in our second quarter, let's take a commercial break, and then we'll come back and check on Jason Campbell's status. He is their quarterback of the future, they would like to believe.
Yeah, and justifiably so. You know, this has been such a struggle all year for the Washington Redskins, and I think mainly because of the issues they've had on the offensive line. John Jansen going down, Randy Thomas early, although he did come back and play some tonight. Haven't been there all season. Jason was talking about some of those issues on the field beforehand. Now Chris Cooley, his favorite target, is limping off the field. I don't think I can remember a first half quite like this where this many star football players for respective teams have headed for the locker room.
We're going to wind up with 4 players in the locker room before the first half has even been concluded. And the similarities between Campbell's injury this evening and Grossman's, which we saw in the first quarter, are eerie. If you weren't with us in the first quarter, Grossman dropped back and took a shot from his left side that left him with what is being called an injured knee, although we thought it was an ankle at the time. And now Campbell from his left side goes down in the same fashion.
Yeah, hate to see it.
Derek Frost is on to punt, and once again, Devin Hester is back, this time at his 23. He has been contained this evening those few times when he has touched the football. He'll let this one bounce, and it's going to bounce out of bounds inside the 2-yard line. For those of you joining us on NFL.com and NFL Mobile, welcome to Thursday Night Football on NFL Network. You see Jason Campbell getting off the cart there and going into the Redskins locker room. There's nothing to cheer there.
No, and I guess the only good news is how far the medical technology has come, that they do get these guys back very quickly. But now for this Washington Redskins defense, a real opportunity that they can make a stand against the Bears here. Watch out for the pressure. They may try and win it themselves with 2 points.
The Bears with 2 tight ends in the ball game as John Gilmore sees his first action of the night, and Peterson just tries to find him some operating room over left guard. But as has been the case all night, he's not finding a lot there.
Redskins have all 3 timeouts remaining. And Joe Gibbs going to take one here.
And Greasy will go to the sidelines to talk about it. The Bears just not finding anything. Peterson with 13 carries on the night. He's only had 30 yards, and so the Bears are in a bind with 2:12 to play in the first half. They'll be looking at 2nd and 8 at the 5.
Just remember this, if they keep bringing pressure here, you end up with man coverage on the outside. It's not impossible. Bernard Berrien could bust one for about 95 here.
Berrien comes to Greasy's left. He's split left. Berrien will get it. He's got Smoot to beat. Can't do that as he's pushed out of bounds at the 10-yard line. And that'll get us to the 2-minute warning. We have a scoreless battle at FedEx Field between 2 5 and 7 ball clubs. The Bears and the Redskins. There's no score in Washington.
Get in.
Because in the first quarter, we have a scoreless battle at FedEx Field between 2 5 and 7 ball clubs. The Bears and the Redskins. There's no score in Washington.
Get in.
Because in the first quarter, it was Rex Grossman who went down, his left knee injured when Cornelius Griffin got to him. He was taken to the locker. Here in the second quarter, it was Jason Campbell. He was hit by Mark Anderson. His left knee also injured. He's also taken to the locker room. Both Griffin and Anderson, Alabama products. And now Greasy has come on in relief, as has Todd Collins. And it was Greasy who relieved Collins at Michigan.
Do you let Greasy throw here? Because they're going to bring pressure to stop this run.
He'll roll to his right, stepping up and barely getting back to the line of scrimmage. And the Bears are going to be forced to punt. Pressure that time came from Philip Daniels, the 12-year veteran out of Georgia. And the Redskins have called another timeout, stopping our clock at 1:50 to play in the first half.
Well, they decided they were indeed going to let Greasy throw the football. They come out with a bootleg. I thought it was a good-looking call. As a matter of fact, I thought he had his tight end open in the flat, but there was some pressure right in his face, and he just couldn't get it off and almost ran to pick up the first down. But a huge stop for the Redskins now, as they still have a timeout remaining and should have tremendous field position here.
The Redskins have had 2 scoring opportunities, but Sean Sweezen, who was good for his last 15 field goals, has missed from 47 and from 37. And so Brad Maynard will kick from his own end zone. Gets off a low boot. On the bounce, Antoine Randall will pick it up in full stride. Brought down at the 42-yard line. Rod Wilson making the stop there. NFL Total Access has the latest news and information from around the league, featuring exclusive Team Cam access that can be seen Monday through Saturday at 7 Eastern, of course. It's only on NFL Network.
So nice having a veteran back there as the punt returner by picking up that rolling ball there. Antoine Randall probably made about a 20-yard difference. It probably would have run and rolled for another 10 yards. Instead, he picked up 10. Great move by a veteran.
And so Collins, who until he completed that pass in relief had not seen action since 2005, is on here, and he'll one-hop this one into the arms of Keenan McCardell.
Hasn't thrown a pass in a long time. I think 3 years now, but he's a veteran. He understands this system. He was in Kansas City. That's the system they're running now. The old Don Carroll offense. There's Mark Brunell, who's the third quarterback and conceivably could come in. Remember, though, if he comes in anytime before the fourth quarter, that means only he can play quarterback the rest of the way, so they'll hold him out.
Collins was Al Saunders at Kansas City, and he'll complete this one to McCardell once again. Clock continues to run. We're inside minute 25 in the scoreless first half.
A little swing of some kind to Clinton Portis. I'd sure like to get the ball in his hands with a chance right here.
Redskins still have one timeout. Alex Brown from the backside slapping it out of the arms of Collins. And it was Ogunleye, I think, who came up with it. Alex Brown, operating from the backside of Collins, got that right hand out and slapped it free.
Yeah, Alex Brown working against the Redskins' best. Chris Samuels on the left side is just going to make the play. Comes around, swats it out, and then Todd Collins can't find it, and it allows Ogunleye to jump on it. Chris Samuels has been on the hot spot all season long, and really not bad protection there. Todd Collins, as we talked about with Jason Campbell, if he steps up, Alex Brown can't make that play.
And so the Bears get the ball at the 47. They have 2 timeouts and a minute 7 to work with. Greasy will complete this side to Muhammad. Gets them into Redskin territory. Brought down at the 46. Clock continues to tick. We're inside of a minute.
Alex Brown's having a monster game so far. He's been playing tremendously.
Another Florida guy. Completes this side. This is Berrien. Sidesteps one tackle, doesn't get out of bounds, gets to the 31-yard line. We would think the Bears will call a timeout there, and they do.
Yeah, nice move by Bernard Berrien, but he has to get out of bounds there. I mean, that's a big timeout for his football team there, where he easily could have saved it. Makes a good move here, getting away from Fred Smoot, who misses on that one. Now that's routine.
But right there, you can
just come out and get out of bounds. Have to know your situations. Bernard Berrien is the legitimate deep threat for this team, though, and a lot of times when you have that kind of speed, you can throw underneath the guys like that because they're so afraid of you going deep, they give you that throw.
So the Bears will have a first down. They still have 1 timeout remaining, just 36 seconds to play in a scoreless first half, but not an uneventful first half.
No. What a turn of events, though. It looked like the Redskins were going to have a chance to take the lead. And
Devin Hester has checked in the ball game. He's at the top of your screen. Greasy will throw for him. Picked off. Sean Springs. Springs cross midfield. Hester will run him down at the 25, pushes him out of bounds at the 20.
Brilliant job that time by Sean Springs. He is not even looking at Devin Hester. He's looking in the backfield at Brian Greasy. You'll see him out on the cornerback position. He's going to turn late, find Devin Hester. As he slows down, he's reading a 3-step drop. He sees it. Now he's going to break on it. And that's just a big-time play for a guy that they didn't even think was going to be able to play tonight until pregame warm-up.
And so the Redskins are presented with a scoring opportunity. They will take over at the 21-yard line with just 24 seconds left to play in the first half. No score in our ball game. He fakes to Portis, and Collins will throw. Touchdown, Todd Yoder. coming in place of the injured starting tight end Chris Cooley, who has gone to the locker room with a shin injury. Yoder catches a strike from Collins. And that's Yoder's first touchdown of the year. It comes with just 17 seconds left to play in our first half. Squeeze him with the extra point, and just like that, the Redskins, who 30 seconds ago were trying to keep the Bears out of the end zone, find themselves leading 7-0. Here's a second look at it.
Well, Todd Yoder right over here is simply going to come across on a classic bootleg because there's not a wide receiver out to that side. There's no corner there either, and so there's really nobody to fall back underneath that. The safety unable to get back across Danielle Manning. And in a situation where you think all you have to do here is at least hold them to a field goal, they give up at a touchdown. And the way the offenses have been going here tonight,
that's a big lead.
That's a big lead.
That's Collins' first touchdown pass since 2002.
It's a good play. I really thought the Redskins might come out and run the ball. They go with the bootleg right off the bat. They were so ineffective trying to drop back and throw it before. Maybe they're just going to settle for the field goal there. Instead, they come back with the bootleg and make a big play.
Well, that's the good news. They lead 7-0. The bad news is they have to kick to Devin Hester.
You want to bet?
They probably will not. With 17 seconds left to play in the first half, I don't see any reason why they should.
With the way the Bears are playing offense, I might kick this one in the stand sideways. Here, take it on the 40. Have fun.
That one has enlivened this crowd. Talk about a reversal of fortune. In a swing of 30 seconds, the Redskins go from trying to keep the Bears out of the end zone and off the board. They take it back. Sean Springs brings it back to the 20, and in the first play, Todd Collins completes it to Todd Yoder, and the Redskins find themselves leading 7-0. Well, I don't get this. He does kick it away to Hester. And Hester gets tripped up as he crosses the 35-yard line and leave the Bears with just 12 seconds and 1 timeout left in this first half. I'm not sure why they did that.
If that one had come back for a touchdown, they would have forgotten all about that timeout a week ago.
Yeah, they would have. There'd have been a ton of questions about, explain to me why you did that.
Not me. I'm not giving them a chance with that little time on the clock.
And so let's see what the Bears try to do here. Hester is still in the ball game. He's to the top of your screen. Greasy will launch it in his direction. He's picked off again. Sean Springs with his second interception of the night.
Did Sean Springs change jerseys or something? It was really a well-thrown ball right to Springs. There's clearly miscommunication, and Devin Hester working on the outside. I don't know what's going on between he and the quarterbacks, but that is at least the third time tonight that we have seen Hester run one route and the quarterbacks throw the ball somewhere else. Now, obviously not a lot of work with Brian Greasy and Devin Hester because they're not playing a lot, but wow, that's kind of inexcusable when you miss that badly.
Well, let's see what they do with their final 4 seconds. They're not going to go in the prevent offense. They'll swing it to Portis. Ooh. And everybody but Portis thought that was a pretty good idea. And so that's the way our first half will end. The Redskins scoring in the final moments of the first half. The only scoring of our first half. A Todd Collins to Todd Yoder touchdown pass has the Redskins up 7-0. Coming up next, it's the Wendy's halftime show. We'll have highlights and analysis, and Rodney Harrison's going to join the guys. It's 7-0 at FedEx Field.
There's been literally whatsoever out of these offensive lines, and believe me, Clinton Portis is a better running back than those numbers would indicate. What it says is there just aren't any holes out here tonight.
And we have 2 of the most accurate kickers in the NFL. Sean Sweezum has missed 4 all year, and he's missed 2 tonight. And then you got Robbie Gould, who has 1 blocked on the other side. There just haven't been many scoring opportunities, and the ones they've had have gone awry.
So you're saying the first half isn't going in the time capsule?
The Smithsonian hasn't called. Little pooch kick here. Grabbed at the 30-yard line. That's Todd Yoder. who I'm sure did not expect to be running back kickoffs tonight.
Lorenzo Alexander, an offensive lineman, thought he was going to get a chance, and Yoder stole it away from him.
And so Todd Collins will bring the Redskins offense onto the field. Collins got to be wondering what's going on. I mean, he's got nothing but DNPs all year long. That did not play.
But look at his numbers in the first half.
Very good, actually.
4 for 5, a 137 quarterback rating, a touchdown, and now they can be even a little conservative if they want to.
And they'll start the second half by giving it to Portis, still on his feet. And you see Chris Cooley, that's a good sign. He's back in the ball game. He had gone to the locker room in the first half with what we were told was a shin injury. He went in there for evaluation. Evidently, he's okay to play.
I might have to send you in the locker room. You're fading on me a little bit here now.
I've got a lozenge in my mouth. I mean,
we don't need all the details.
There isn't a lot of voice there. I'll try not to click it around my chiclets.
All right.
The official word on Jason Campbell is a dislocated patella tendon. Dr. Collinsworth?
No thanks.
Portis bounces this one outside. Will come up 2 yards short on the first down marker. Mark Anderson there.
And Mark Anderson, there's always been some question. Here's a guy who unquestionably is one of the most exciting young pass rushers to come in the game in a long time. But could he hold up against the run? And there's been a lot of criticism of that, especially last week in the game against the Giants. But to be perfectly honest, it was one play that was beating the Bears all day, and they never made an adjustment to stop that one play.
Anderson, a guy who had a great rookie year rushing the passer and started this year well, but as you noted, well, this first down, Portis finding running room. Portis slipping another tackle to the 30. He's got Tillman to beat. Portis to the 5, inside the 5. Portis all the way down to the 2-yard line.
Boy, what a play by Chris Samuels out in front of that. And for Clinton Portis, he's been banging. He came out his first couple runs this half, really hard edge runs. And Chris Samuels hustling all the way down the field there, able to get some of those finishing blocks.
But how many Bears had a legit shot at him here?
Well, let's count them. 0.
Archuleta right there. Hillenmeyer had a shot at him. McGowan had a shot at him.
There's a push in the back by Mike Sellers they got away with.
This is Betts getting nothing off the left side. I'm sorry, I thought at least 3 Bears had a good shot at him right there.
Well, for Clinton Portis, though, you ever heard the old Bill Cosby routine? I stepped and I saw a hole. I've never seen a hole before. You know, and for Clinton Portis, he has to be thinking that. He's been banging up there all night long. There's been nothing there whatsoever. All of a sudden, you get an opportunity in the open field, and you see why he's the kind of back that ranks right up there with the NFL greats, at least the ones that are active and playing right now.
And just like that, Portis with a pickup of 45, touchdown Redskins. Mike Sellers.
Well, there's just no question that the change of momentum that happened right before the half, the interception, turn around, give the Redskins a chance, convert it into a touchdown, and now the Redskins come out here in the second half and add one right on top.
Sean squeezes him on for the extra point, and just like that, offense has broken out on the Redskins side of the field. With 11:53 to play in the third quarter, and the Redskins have a 14-0 lead over the Bears. Field with 35 first half. The Bears seem to be marching towards our first score of the night. Suddenly, Sean Springs picks it off, takes it all the way back. Todd Collins hits Todd Yoder. They go up 7-0. We come out in the second half. It takes the Redskins just 3:07 to go 63 yards. Sellers punches it in from 2 yards out, and they're leading at 14-0. And so we're watching Devin Hester field it at the 15. His Bears on the short end of a 14-0 score. Hester trying to race to the far sideline and gets tripped up by Anthony Mix. And we've got a flag down.
Holding, receiving team, number 81. 10-yard penalty, first down.
The hold was on Rashid Davis. Take a quick look at that Redskins drive. Not a lot to it, actually. There are only 5 plays, and as we said, it lasted barely over 3 minutes. The key play, of course, was the bridge there. Clinton Portis, a little screen pass, taking it 54 yards, and then Sellers punching it in.
That's sort of the Golden Gate Bridge right
You like
there.
That one?
Big jump there. Watch Mike Sellers here at the end of this play. He's going to push him in the back, and right after he did that, he put his hands over his head because he knew he was going to get called for a penalty, but didn't.
Greasy throwing this one in and out of the arms of the rookie Greg Olson.
And I think that was a live football.
LaRon Landry almost came up with it.
It landed right in the lap of LaRon Landry. We've seen that a couple of times this year. Remember the San Diego game where it bounced around and the officials made a call. Let's see if this thing ever hits the ground. It does not.
It does not.
So if LaRon Landry catches like anything other than a defensive back, that's his.
But it was Olsen who had his ankle, so he had other matters to tend to.
Who had his hands.
They'll try Peterson again. And again, Peterson will be stuffed for very little gain. Reed Doughty coming up in this safety position to negate that one. It's going to leave the Bears with a 3rd and considerable. Let's call it 3rd and 7.
Is this really the Chicago Bears that were in the Super Bowl a season ago?
You know, this takes me back to 1970, which was the last time the Bears had this much futility running the football.
Well, I tell you, you just don't give your quarterback a chance when you're sitting there 3rd and 8 all the time.
Lovie Smith has nowhere to turn, frankly.
Unless they change, it's straight man coverage out here on Devin Hester.
Redskins may have jumped early. Swings at this side. This is Hester working his way close to the first down marker, but I think we're going to have offside Redskins. Look like the left defensive end, that would be Daniels, jumped early.
Offside, defense, number 53. 5-yard penalty, replay, 3rd down.
Marcus Washington, who had moved into a 3-point stance there, decided to get a little advantage on Mr. Greasy.
Good call. He's the nickel pass rusher. But really, the story of the game so far for me has been the play of the defensive backs of Greg Williams. He's taken chances. He's brought pressure. He's brought people up the middle trying to get pressure. And the defensive backs have been able to hold up in man coverage, and these Bears receivers have made 0 plays. They can't get open.
He's got Hester in the slot to his left, and Berrien split wide. And they're going to give those 5 yards back.
Delay of game.
Wow.
Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
And if you're Lovie Smith, you've lost your quarterback. You got Greasy in there. You lost Benson to a broken ankle, not that he was a world beater. And Peterson has got nothing, and the only person he can turn to now is Garrett Wolf, who's 3rd on the depth chart at running back, and he barely played.
Well, where is he? We thought he was going to get some playing time.
In fact, Smith
and
told
he's an
us,
explosive player that
Lovie
may be able to
said
make
that
some plays.
we would see him, but we have not. And so he's back to 3rd and 7. And once again, Hester's in the slot. And Greasy will throw on the far side for Berrien. Caught. Great catch by Berrien. Good coverage by Springs.
Now this is going to be interesting. I'm assuming he got his feet down cleanly.
The Bears are trying to hurry up. The Bears are trying to hurry up.
It looks like a good catch to me, though. He got both feet down. It was a clean catch as long as he held it all the way to the ground here. Possession, 2 feet down. Does he hold it all the way to the ground? He does.
Pickup of 35. Peterson getting back barely to the line of scrimmage. Marcus Washington with the stop.
You know, you just have to take those kind of chances. This is a defense that's been attacking you all night long. You've got a great speed receiver out there, one-on-one. Sean Springs coming off an injury. You have to hit some of those plays to get him to slow down.
He's got speed wide both sides. Berrien to the top, Hester to the bottom. Peterson is the lone back. He'll look to Hester's side, completing this one to Greg Olson. Great one-handed catch by the rookie.
Boy, that is tremendous right there. We talked about it a little bit earlier in the game. Maybe they bring Greg Olson in a game like this. Much more the receiving tight end. Got away with a little push off that time against London Fletcher. It comes down with a brilliant catch. Back-to-back brilliant catches, and that's what's been missing so far in this game for the Bears.
Gets the Bears to the Redskins' 30-yard line, and Greasy will throw to Olson once again. Olson working his way to the 22-yard line before brought down in the grip of London Fletcher.
Yeah, nice read that time by Greasy. They come with a double blitz to his side, to his left side. He knows he has to throw it hot, gets it out of there. That frustrates defenses more than anything when you hit big plays and you hit hot reads.
Call it 2nd and 1 for the Bears, who suddenly have a bit of rhythm to the offense.
All-star offense, number 63. 5-yard penalty.
So much for the rhythm.
Still 2nd down.
You know, offensively, you just cannot beat yourself. And it just seems like this team, when they start making plays, they find a way to go backwards. Just not like a Lovie Smith coach team. A disciplined guy. You watch them in practice. They pay so much attention to details. And yet in the game, they make key mistakes in key moments.
The Bears with their deepest penetration of the night, looking at 2nd and 6. Greasy overthrowing Muhammad, and that's going to be flagged. LaRon Landry, they came in all directions. LaRon Landry saw a shot and took it, and that one was a pretty easy call.
One of the things that LaRon Landry has done this year is not play the ball.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense, number 30. Hit on a defensive receiver. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
This one's pretty obvious.
And try to headhunt. It's one of the complaints this coaching staff has about him is that instead of just playing the ball, he wants to go for the knockout shot. Eventually, especially now playing free safety, he has to get out of that. That wasn't even close. That is just one of those penalties that can, you know, destroy your defense. It's not even within the realm of possibility that Muhammad's going to make that play and that catch.
Well, he had already come down. I mean, it was almost a full second later. We got to look at the offensive coordinator of the Bears. That's Ron Turner up there. He has not dialed up a lot of things that work this evening.
Well, but it's coming in bursts, you know, and it just about the time that you think, okay, the Bears can't do anything. Maybe at the start of the Giants game last week, you're thinking, oh, God, the Giants are going to just destroy them here. And they explode for the opening drive. And then here they explode for a couple of big plays. But it's just too far between.
So the officials had a little bit of a clock problem and a chains problem. They seem to have sorted it out now. The ball is spotted at the 13-yard line, and the Bears have gone to a double tight end set once again as Gilmore is checked in opposite Desmond Clark, and somebody jumped early on the left side. Wow.
Prior to the snap, all-star offense, number 76. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
They got the veteran Tate that time at left tackle. And the Bears just continue to derail their own offensive aspirations.
And you, to be fair about it, you do have a different snap count now that you haven't heard in a while, and maybe it has some impact, but that's giving them every benefit of the doubt.
Greasy will throw on first down, has this one batted down. That may have been London Fletcher. Are you kidding me? London Fletcher at 5'10", getting up and batting that one down.
And John Gilmore was wide open on the play, running right down the seam. And if Fletcher doesn't make that play, that's a walk-in touchdown. Gilmore is just going to, there was some confusion on the defensive side. You could see them running around late just before the snap of the ball. And Gilmore's shaking his head. He said, guys, that was absolutely wide open. Just a touchdown saving play that time by London Fletcher.
Bears barely get this one off, completes it to Berry, and he escapes Smoot. And he'll be pushed out of bounds at about the 12-yard line. Redskins defense trying to bow here and keep the Bears out of the end zone. They've managed to do that now for 9 consecutive quarters. Those past 2 games against the Bills last week and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers the week before that.
Yeah, well, it helps a little when you're playing teams that are struggling on the offensive side too, but this is a defense that really struggled a season ago. It's giving up a lot of big plays, not getting turnovers. They add London Fletcher, a little more conservative, and things start turning around, and that's Fred Smoot, who's down on the sideline.
John Eubanks has taken his place in the secondary. That one was intended for Rasheed Davis, but we've got a whistle.
Prior to the snap, false start.
Oh, man.
Offense, number 69. 5-yard penalty, still third down.
This is just sloppy on the part of the Bears offense.
I feel like I'm watching a ping pong match here, and Brian Greasy doing the right thing by changing the snap count because he's getting so much pressure and there's so many blitzes. You have to be able to slow him down a little bit. But his offensive line, I don't know if they're going to have to start holding out their fingers in the snap count or something.
Meanwhile, Fred Smoot, just to the sideline, hasn't even made his way to the bench. He's just outside the 17-yard line and is being tended to there.
Well, let's see if the Bears recognize it here because they have Berrien on the outside against Eubanks, who just came in the game, and it's straight man-to-man right here.
And he didn't get it off again. Another delay of game.
Delay of game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains
that is the
down.
Bears' 6th penalty of this drive.
There's professional football and there is unprofessional football. Right now, the Bears are playing unprofessional football, and it's embarrassing.
Well, let's see if we wind up again with Berrien on Eubanks, man up.
I'm going to guess not, because it's such a long yardage situation. And why not give the Bears a couple more chances to go backwards? They might knock themselves out of field goal.
You guessed wrong. He's got him man up on this side.
Sure does.
He completes over the middle instead to Rasheed Davis, and he's going to be well short of the first down marker. And so Lee Torrance drags him down. So we are going to see Robbie Gould, and you see Smoot there, who never really made it to the bench, just made it to the sideline. He's now being loaded onto the cart.
You know what, Brian, and I don't think that any of these are fatigue kind of injuries, but it is a short week. It's late in the season, and stuff happens. You know, it just does. And boy, this has been incredible tonight.
Robbie Gould will try this one from 30 yards out. Earlier tonight, he had one blocked from 48. And the Bears are on the board. We've got 5:25 to play in the third quarter. We've found some offense here at FedEx Field. Bears are on the board, but they're trailing by 11.
Heartburn changes everything. Fortunately, so can Maximum Strength Zantac 150.
Of offense on that drive.
And so Gould will kick it away. This is Rock Cartwright coming up to take it at the 15. He'll hit a lot of traffic as he crosses the 25, gets to the 27. Josh Gaddis makes the stop there. Redskins will go back to work. 5:21 to play in the third. Each and every week, re-air 30-minute program, Chris Collinsworth's favorite show is NFL Replay. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesdays, and of course it's only on NFL Network.
NFL Network's a tool for me now. That's one of my study tools.
Football is your life.
Oh, if you only knew.
A little more than 5 minutes to play in the third period. Redskins will start this drive from their own 28. Todd Collins is on. Liddell Betts is coming into the game for Clinton Portis. Play fake to Betts. Collins gets this one off. Oh, just beyond the outstretched arms of the defensive back. Lance Briggs applying the pressure there. Collins, of course, is in relief of Jason Campbell. For an update on him, let's go down to Adam Schefter.
Thanks very much, Brian. I was just outside the Redskins locker room, and Jason Campbell's father, Larry Campbell from Hattiesburg, Mississippi, was outside there. He said that his son's kneecap had popped out. Doctors popped it back in. He is scheduled to meet with doctors tomorrow, but I noticed that Clinton Portis came over to his father and said Jason's going to be fine.
Well, I wonder where Clinton got his medical degree from, but that's all right.
Let's hope. Let's hope he's right.
This is 2nd and 10, and this is Betts getting a rare carry. Israel Adonijah bringing him down. I say gets a rare carry because Betts is one of those guys who had a terrific year last year, and first game this year he had 16 carries against the Miami Dolphins. 17 carries, excuse me, in the opener, but he's had only 16 carries the last 6 ball games. He's kind of the forgotten man in this offense.
Yeah, which is kind of surprising with the way that he played a season ago, over 1,000 yards rushing, and you'd think maybe that changeup might help. I don't know, maybe see some of the blocking schemes out there and saying, take it, Clinton.
And so it'll be 3rd and long for the Redskins offense. Moss motions this side. He'll go wide to Betts, in and out of the hands.
That's a give-up throw. Even if you complete that one, you have absolutely no chance.
Well, will we get to see any highlights from Devin Hester? We've kind of waited for that all night long, but the Redskins, the few times that they have kicked him, have done a good job bottling him up.
Would you? I mean, really, you've been watching this Bears offense, and
I was stunned that they did at the end of the first half, to be honest.
Could they make up 11 points in the last 19 minutes here unless he returns one?
Well, they did it against the Broncos, but Frost will kick this one out of bounds, and we have a flag. So we'll hold it here and see what's going on.
You know, it's even more of an indictment of this Bears offense that given the field position they have that they can't do anything. You got to
believe they'll take that and make them do it again.
Illegal formation, kicking team. They were only 6 men on their line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot, re-kick.
Yeah, even though it was just a 26-yard punt. Now, how often do you have them re-kick after just a 26-yard punt? But when you have Devin Hester,
I think they're going to add it on to where the kick was.
Well, with a 26-yard punt, they have the option.
To take the 5-yard penalty from the end of the kick. First down.
Okay, so they will take it. Meanwhile, we're getting word that Clinton Portis now has gone to the sidelines with what is being called a stomach injury.
Of course.
We'll clarify that when we come back. Following a 20 Bears will have great field position at the Redskin 48. And we'll see what they can do with it. When last they had it, they went down for their first score of the ball game. A 30-yard field goal by Robbie Gould. It's Brian Greasy on in relief of Rex Grossman. Greasy will throw over the middle. Desmond Clark. Clark dragged down at about the 28-yard line in the arms of LaRon Landry, and they get up woofing. And we asked about Garrett Wolfe. He has now checked into the ball game for the first time this evening. He's the lone back behind Greasy.
Trying to come up with some explosive plays now.
Wolfe will get the ball, sidestepping his way to a first down. Young Garrett Wolfe is quite a story. This is a young man who set all kinds of records at Northern Illinois. He's not large. They list him at 5'7" and 185. That may be being a bit generous, but he's a guy who has shown big play potential.
One of only 12 players in college football, Division 1A, to rush for over 5,000 yards.
Greasy throwing it in the end zone, burying. Touchdown, Bears. Wait. Another official comes in. He's waving it off. We're going to have a conference. We're going to have a conference. They're waving this one off. And now we'll have to see if Lovie Smith goes for his challenge flag.
I think I might on this one. It looked like as he was coming down.
The rule on the field is that the receiver did not have possession of the ball.
No possession there.
The ball landed out of bounds.
The question is, did he have possession when the elbow hit? Because if the elbow hit after he gains possession there, that's a touchdown.
That looks like a catch.
And I've got to tell you, he did sort of roll it over at the end of that play, but that looked like a clean catch, elbow down, and a touchdown.
I'm trying to figure out what the second official who came in from the left saw that caused him to say
well,
no
the ball
touchdown.
Came free, and I understand that. The ball came out. Now you have to maintain possession all the way through. That one appears to me to be a touchdown, but what do I know?
There comes the challenge flag.
Oh, thank goodness.
I'm watching Love
with his interceptions, but now Berrien has taken over, and you just wondered when they were going to start taking those shots in all that man coverage. Give your great athletes a chance to make great plays.
After reviewing the play, the receiver maintained possession of the ball, touching down with his elbow for a touchdown.
Touchdown Bears.
Chicago is not charged.
The first official had it right, and he managed to get talked out of it by the second who moved in. The one who moved in was Joe Laro, but the first official actually had it right, and he appeared to have the better view.
Well, there was the bobble, and when you see that ball come free, your tendency is to think that it maintained the bobble, but it really didn't. He regained possession, made a great catch, and almost surprisingly was able to secure it and not bobble it again the second time after both elbows hit. Great play.
And so the Bears, after spending a half of futility, have now scored on 2 consecutive drives, and just like that, they've managed to score the last 10 points of this ball game and move to within 4 of the Redskins. The Bears with 10 points in just the last 2 minutes of play.
Well, somebody set the Bears offense alarm clock, because all of a sudden now they're starting to get it going a little bit. And you wonder now maybe the Redskins start to change defensively. Not quite as much pressure, because for the wide receivers, they're finally starting to make some plays.
It's not just that, but for the Redskins and their fans who are sitting here, they've got to wonder, is this deja vu all over again? We came on the air talking about it, that this Redskins ball club has had difficulty throughout this year, and frankly throughout the second tenure of Joe Gibbs, of hanging on to leads. They've blown 18, I say blew. There are 18 ball games where they led in the second half and wound up losing the ball game, and they've had 5 such games this year.
Yeah, and for Joe Gibbs, this is one of those moments now. You know, he needs this team. They are comfortably in front. They're playing at home. His defense was playing well. But now's when your offense and hopefully your running game can begin to take over a game. You think back to some of the John Riggins teams and their ability with the Hogs to just run out the clock.
But they were built for that. This team isn't built for that.
That's exactly right. And Clinton Portis is sitting over on the sideline, your best weapon with the running game. So you just don't know if they have the ability anymore to do that. Put the ball in Todd Collins' hands and see what happens, I guess.
We've got a ball game. Robbie Gould kicks this one down to the 13-yard line. Rock Cartwright will get it there. And Cartwright's going to work his way back to the 30 before being stacked up. Don't forget, we here at NFL are going to be with you in the runoff to the playoffs. Next week we are down in Houston, as we got the Broncos and the Texans on Thursday, and then some of us will head out to the coast for the
but I hope you have a great time.
Bengals 49ers game on Saturday, and then we're back with Steelers Rams the following Thursday, and then the following Saturday we're in Carolina. And then we finish up with the Giants and the Patriots.
Should be fun. Clinton Portis back in the game now. That's good news for the Redskins.
We are told he had just a bit of an upset stomach. Portis will get it. And Portis will get 7. Alex Brown drags him down.
You see it often in the NFL that runs that don't work in the first half work in the second half. Defensive linemen, linebackers, they're all flying around and so full of energy in the first half. And in the second half, they get worn down a little bit. And in fairness, because of some of the injuries on the Bears' defensive side, they don't have that 3-man rotation that they typically have.
Second down, Portis again. He's going to lead the Redskins with a 3rd and short. One of those guys who's playing with injuries, Urlacher, the key man on the stop there, filling the hole. He and Portis share Christmas greetings. For those of you joining us on NFL.com and NFL Mobile, we'd like to again welcome you to Thursday Night Football on NFL Network. This one has actually turned into a pretty good ball game after what seemed like a scoreless first half. It was scoreless for all but the last 20 seconds of it when the Redskins managed to put our first score on the board. They came out and scored within 3 minutes of the second half to take a 14-0 lead, but it's the Bears who've scored 10 in 2 minutes to make this a ball game with just 2 minutes remaining in the third quarter. They'll swing at this side, and that is Betts being forced out of bounds, but would appear to have the first down.
Big first down for the Washington Redskins with this momentum shift that we're seeing to pick up at least 1 first down against this Bears defense, which now has to prove itself. How many times this season have we seen them in typical situations where the Bears defensively and Brian Urlacher close the door easily, and yet at least 3 times this season we've seen them blow leads.
We have not managed to call Urlacher's name many times tonight. Redskins working with a new set of downs, and Collins throws late to the far side. Completes it to Randall L. Getting there late was the rookie Trumaine McBride. We've got a flag.
And number 74, 10-yard penalty, replay first down.
Stephen Hayer is called for holding Adewale Ogunleye. Ogunleye is the man we have wired for sound tonight. Let's give a listen.
Hey, I thought they said it was cold out here. This ain't cold. Hey, y'all crazy like that out here? DC crazy. I wanted to get it early.
And now Wally seems to be a little bit shaken up. They're touching him under the right shoulder there underneath the pad. Completes this one, slant to Randall L. And they get back much of what they lost on that penalty. Ogunleye, a really engaging young man. Enjoyed a visit with him yesterday. Really a bright guy. His dad's an academician, and he said he's given some thought when his playing days are done to being a teacher himself.
Might be thinking about it right now over there. The way these things are beginning to hurt, and now not only are they down to a 2-man rotation at defensive tackle, they're down to a 2-man rotation at defensive end if he can't come back.
Alex Brown has moved into his position at left defensive end. And that's Alex Brown. Alex Brown kind of, look what I found there.
Well, Alex Brown has been tremendous all night long. He's come up with big plays. He's a smart guy. He's a veteran. He understands. And when you see those offensive linemen that look in their eyes and they're starting to sneak out a little bit, the good ones go with them. The bad ones go chase the quarterback and give up big plays.
That's going to be our final play of the third quarter. We've got a ball game here at FedEx Field. The Bears have scored the last 10 points. They've pulled to within 4, but it's the Redskins who are leading 14-10. 18 ball games. As you can see, they've had particular problems this year in the fourth quarter. 3 ball games they've lost after leading in the fourth. Todd Collins is on in relief of Jason Campbell. And Collins will throw over the middle for Cooley. Cooley stays on his feet to the Bears 25. It was Brandon McGowan who came in with the shot late, but Cooley bounced off him to pick up another 10 yards.
Chris Cooley just on a middle read here against that Tampa 2 defense. Brian Urlacher hesitated for just a moment. He looked back at the underneath receiver, and that's really not his responsibility. His responsibility on a 3rd and 11 situation is to get back underneath the middle read because those safeties are a little wider. That hesitation cost the Bears there.
Pickup of 33 on the Collins to Cooley hookup. Captain Chaos, a favorite of the Washington crowd. We've got a flag as Collins overthrows Santana Moss on the far side. Jerome Boger has been a busy man this evening.
Illegal formation, offense. There was no eligible receiver on the end of the line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty. Replay first down.
We talked about the problems the Redskins have had hanging on to leads. The Bears have had the same kind of problems defensively, none worse than what they allowed the Detroit Lions to do.
Yeah, that was remarkable. That was maybe the first time we understood the issues this defense may be having. And then Adrian Peterson, we saw again last week. They're sitting there comfortably in front against the New York Giants offense that had really been struggling.
They made Derek Ward look like LT.
And they did it, honestly, with one play. With one play, they kept running it over and over again.
The Bears decline. And here's the flag again. We're going to have a delay.
False start.
False start.
Offense, number 79. 5-yard penalty.
That's Lorenzo Alexander seeing his first action of the night and none too happy about it.
Well, it's kind of like an exhibition game now. You're starting to see guys in the game you don't always see in the game, and
Well, you alluded to it earlier that, you know, they've had a short week and some of the guys' bodies are betraying them. We saw Clinton Portis go to the sidelines with an upset stomach, and Fred Smoot had problems of the same line.
Well, you know, there's traveling, there's a short week, they've been in and out. It's just tough circumstances for a ball game tonight.
Collins with good time finds Cooley again, and Cooley gets to the 10-yard line, would seem to be another Washington first down. That's McGowan and Tillman bringing him down.
Well, this is one of those plays where Chris Cooley's going to come across the formation, but the only way this works is if the receiver on the other side of the field can completely clear the defensive backs. That time the protection by this offensive line allowed that other receiver to clear the zone. Cooley comes underneath. Big play for the Redskins.
It'll be first and goal from the 10. The pitch is for Portis. He loses his footing and doesn't get back to the line of scrimmage.
Gourlier said, "Are you kidding me? Don't you? I've seen that stupid play before." He jumped right out underneath that thing. And Glenn Portis, he knew better. He's just going to try and save some ground on the loss right there. Gourlier on the right side of your screen reads it all the way, and Glenn Portis did the smart thing, just get back close to the line of scrimmage. Gourlier's been on a great run. He really has. The past 4 or 5 games, he has really been top-notch. A lot of turnovers.
4 straight forced fumbles. For the last 4 games, he leads the NFL with 6. That's Sellers in motion. They'll fake to Portis this side and throw to him this side. He's brought down at the 5-yard line. Briggs, Tillman, there at the same time. Give McBride a piece of that tackle, too.
Brian, you remember the play they ran for the touchdown in the first half, the bootleg? This is the next step off of that. That time they slipped Clint Portis out, thinking everybody's going to play the bootleg, come back across the formation. The Bears with a nice job reading it, though.
Big down for the Bears here. If they can hold them, they can keep this a 1-score ball game. 3rd and goal from the 5. Being held was the Bear on that side. Looked like a Goodlier was being held. But no flag. Is that possible?
Well, Chris Cooley on this play got knocked down, and so Collins ends up with nowhere to go with it.
Look at a Goodlier here. Tell me Alexander doesn't have a grip.
Looks like he's inside the shoulder pads there.
Wow. And so the Bears do hold. And Sweezum will come on for what would appear to be a 23-yard field goal attempt. He's 0 for 2 tonight. He's missed from 47 and 37. But he's good from 23. And so the Bears do manage to keep it a 1-score ball game with just less than 12 minutes to play in the ball game. They're trailing 17-10. We're 2 to play in the ball game here at FedEx Field, I should say in regulation time, because it has that look. But after playing what was kind of a sleeper first half, the offenses have kind of clicked it into gear here in the second half. The Redskins have rung up 17 points. They're last on a Sean Sweezum 23-yard field goal. And the Bears have 10, but they are within striking distance. And that man Hester is set up at his own 15-yard line. Redskins have done a pretty good job with him tonight. They'll kick this one on the ground, but Hester will get it anyway at the 21. Bounces it outside, tries to reverse his field, but he's dragged down from behind by Anthony Mix. That's twice tonight that Mix has been Hester's personal tormentor. But Hester will stay on the field with the offensive unit as the Bears come on, trailing by 7. Coming up, the Home Depot post-game show. Join Rich, Marshall, Mooch, and Dion. They're going to have highlights, analysis, and of course some post-game interviews. Adam Schefter will check in. We'll get an update perhaps on some of the injuries we've seen tonight. We've seen quite a few. The Bears are in business. This is Garrett Wolf again, and he goes down in the arms of London Fletcher. We told you about the problems that Joe Gibbs has had in his second tenure with the Redskins. You have to appreciate what kind of a demigod Joe Gibbs is in the Washington area, and with good reason. He's one of only 3 coaches to work actively on the sidelines after being enshrined in the Hall of Fame. He's in very good company there with George Halas and Paul Brown. Greasy completes to Hester.
Look out.
Hester reversed his field, and London Fletcher greeted him, said, don't try that spinorama here, but he almost got away with it.
Boy, I tell you what, London Fletcher's hustle on this play probably saves a touchdown. Hester is going to escape after this catch. He's going to get away, and but for the hustle of London Fletcher coming back, he's gone.
Greasy to Hester again, and Hester crossing the Redskin 40 to the 38-yard line.
And remember, Fred Smoot, the starting cornerback, is out. John Eubanks is now in, and it looks like the Bears and the Bears coaching staff have figured that out, and they have Hester on that side again.
And again, he's manned up with Eubanks, but they'll give it inside to Garrett Wolf, and Garrett Wolf is pulled down from behind by Marcus Washington. We were talking about Joe Gibbs. Now, this is a guy who, as we said, he's had difficulties with second half leads. He had the gaff last week, and a rule he did not know, and wound up moving them 15 yards closer for what proved to be the game-winning field goal. Were it anyone else but Joe Gibbs, there'd be a controversy about whether or not he should be staying on.
And there's a reason for that. He's done a great job here.
This one is wide of Musa Muhammad.
I mean, you're talking about for Joe Gibbs. Now, here's a guy that's been the head coach of the Redskins for 16 of the last 27 years. He's made the playoffs 9 of those 16 years. The 11 years he hasn't been the head coach, they've made the playoffs once. I mean, so there's a reason they're a little patient with Joe Gibbs.
Joe Gibbs, the oldest coach in the NFL at 66. He is 6 years older than Romeo Cornell, who is second. This is Greasy completing it to Berrien, and we have another flag. This flag's on the far side of the field, away from the play. That ball appeared to be tipped.
It did, and if it's tipped, you can't have any pass interference once the moment of contact.
Illegal motion, offense, number 23. Moving forward at the snap, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Well, let's see. Desmond Clark explains it to him. Well, he just didn't come fully set.
He sure didn't. That's partly on Hester, but partly on Greasy too. He's got to check out there and make sure he's set.
That negated a 14-yard reception, which would have given the Bears a 1st down. Instead, we're looking at 3rd and 13. And Greasy will throw down the middle for Hester. There's a flag in his wake.
No question, illegal contact. A little double move on the part of Muhsin Muhammad.
Illegal contact, defense, number 29. 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
That's the 2nd-year man out of Stanford, Lee Torrance, who gets flagged with it. Pretty easy call.
Yeah, going to go down a little double move, a slant and go, and Torrance really had no choice. Didn't have a safety help in the middle of the field. Actually, a good play by Torrance.
Greasy and the Bears get a new set of downs as we move inside 10 minutes to play in regulation. 1st and 10 Bears from the 36. They'll swing it wide to Berrien. He's pushed out by Eubanks.
We're seeing the Redskins defensively now being a little bit more conservative. They're bringing Ron Landry and putting him about 20 yards down the field. That's something new for the Redskins this year. They felt like they gave up too many big plays, and so you see their safeties on film sometimes literally completely out of the screen, 20 yards deep.
Give Berrien a gain of 4. 2nd and 6 for the Bears. Greasy completing to Hester once again inside the 20. 3 receptions on this drive for Hester.
There's LaRon Landry right there. You see how deep he is. They also had another guy deep on the other side of the field. So some of these quick throws, some of these big plays against man coverage has forced the Redskins to change up their defense.
And suddenly Peterson finds a little bit of room off the right side. Not much, but may have been his best run of the night.
Yep. They're in a nickel formation now. Marcus Washington has his hand on the ground as a nickel pass rusher. And you can see the Redskins defensively now getting a little tired. They're not off the ball the same way that they were. They're not making some of the quick movements. And these defenders are kind of trapped on the field. They can't be substituted for because of the no huddle.
Hester is manned up with Torrance, the top of your screen. He's looking Hester's way. Hester going for the pylon. They're calling him out of bounds at the 1-yard line. Hester with 4 catches on this drive for the Bears offense.
Yeah, they found the soft spot now. John Eubanks, who's in for Fred Smoot, they're picking on him almost every time. Why not? Put your best athlete out there. That time Eubanks falls down, and nearly a touchdown. Fred Smoot's injury has had a major impact on this game. They finally found a soft spot out there.
Hester with 4 catches on this drive for 58 yards. It'll be 1st and goal from the 1. Peterson stopped behind the line. Cornelius Griffin smashing through from his defensive tackle spot. Looks like a loss of 3.
Cornelius Griffin is just going to run right through Terrence Metcalf there. Now, I think Metcalf was trying to pull around on that play, and when Griffin slanted inside, he just completely destroyed it.
Second and goal, crowded at it, end of the field, into it now. This is Olsen, bottom of the screen. They're going for Olsen. Out of bounds. He ran out of room. Reed Doughty on the coverage.
Yeah, and Reed Doughty's done okay tonight. He really has. He's had a tough assignment. You're out there one-on-one. Brian Greasy could help that play if he'd actually throw it on the field. Give his big tight end a chance to make the play anyway.
We said at the top of the telecast that this had the makings of what amounted to a playoff game for 2 5-7 ball clubs, in that the loser could pretty much forget any realistic hope of making the playoffs. Not that the winner will get there, but the loser's season basically comes to an end. And so it's also the top of the screen. They go the other way. Olsen trying for the one-handed grab. They're saying this hit the turf. Hard to tell if Olsen had a hand under that to keep it alive or not, but he's not arguing too much. Let's take a look.
It looked like it hit the ground.
It did.
And Greg Olsen was signaling for the ball. You saw him slap his hip, showing Greasy that I've got this guy one-on-one out here, throw it out. But the defender made a nice jam at the line of scrimmage, threw the timing off. Big play there by the Redskins.
The defender was Lee Torrance on that play, and so Robbie Gold will come on for what amounts to pretty much an extra point. He made his last one from 30 yards out, and this one is good. And the Bears creep 3 points closer with 6:48 to play in our ball game in regulation. The Redskins leading the Bears 17.
One-on-one right there. That's the signal to go to the fade. The Torrance is sitting right there and gets a good jam. If Greasy gets a little more air on that ball, maybe he has a chance to come under and make the play. He throws the one out of bounds, that one a little too flat, and they come away empty.
Well, the killer was the Peterson run, which Cornelius Griffin made a great play on, but when they lost 3 on first down, the die was pretty much cast. And so the Bears and the Redskins have traded field goals here in the last few moments. Rock Cartwright will bring this one back to almost the 30-yard line, where the Redskins will come on and try to eat up some clock. With 6:43 to play in regulation, they're leading by 4. Eat up some clock now, you would think. Collins is going to throw instead, and Collins is going to complete it to Santana Moss. So he gets pushed out of bounds just past the 45-yard line. Go figure.
This is just all protection. Again, they get the clear route on the outside, and you're going to see Santana Moss work the next intermediate level. Chris Cooley comes in the underneath level, but none of that can work unless you're able to sit back in the pocket, have time. So this Redskins offensive line has been getting the job done as of late as the Bears pass rush begins to slow down.
Collins has played well in relief of Jason Campbell. He's got a new set of downs to work with from the 45, and he'll throw again. Completing this time to the other side, Antoine Randall L., for what would appear to be another Washington first down.
The key to Joe Gibbs' system is that he loves to leave in extra guys to block. Here they have 3 different guys in the backfield to help out in protection. And as Todd Collins steps up. You can see the pocket all day to throw the ball. Doesn't allow you many guys down the field, but right now their receivers are winning the battles.
They'll run it this time with Clinton Portis, and he'll get him halfway to another first down. Mark Anderson with the stop.
We haven't heard a lot from Brian Urlacher tonight, have we?
No,
and this
we called his name very seldom.
This has been a bit of a down year this season for Brian Urlacher. Not that he hasn't made plays, not that he doesn't have over 100 tackles, all those things, but we haven't seen the spectacular plays. You think back to the plays he made in the Super Bowl this past season. He was just spectacular. 4 tackles on the evening. It's not a bad night, but it's not an Urlacher night.
It's not an Urlacher night. You're right. But he has been banged up. He's had some back difficulties. He's had some leg difficulties. So much so that Lovey said he was going to be a game-time decision. We all knew he would play. But he's playing hurt. Redskins going to be left with 3rd and at least 3. Hunter Hillenmeyer in on the stop there.
It's kind of interesting to me that the Redskins, when they do choose to run, are choosing to run to the right side behind the rookies Stephen Heyer and Jason Fabini, who's back in the game. They're on their 3rd right tackle now, and of course Randy Thomas was supposed to play, started earlier tonight, and then ended up out of the game. But that's the inexperienced side of this line, but that's where they're going.
You would think they'd follow behind Samuels.
Well, except that sometimes the defenses know that too and overshift that way.
Collins trying to keep the drive alive. He will with the completion to Antoine Randall L. And he's stopped by McGowan at the 20. Check that. Danielle Manning with the stop.
They go for the inside release there, and you can see
he got picked.
That Ricky Manning is going to get picked essentially by his own guy. I don't think that's a pick play. I don't think it's an illegal play. You just have sort of the old Indianapolis Colts play where you send one guy up the field, you bring the other guy underneath that, and you end up with a big play. Sometimes in man coverage, those defenders will just pick each other off the ball.
The Bears have called a timeout first of the second half. Meanwhile, Collins has put together a fine ball game. Unofficially, Todd Collins in relief of Campbell, 14 of 19 for 208 yards and 1 touchdown. Not bad for a guy who hadn't played since 2005.
Well, he knows the system. He knows Al Saunders well. Saunders wanted him as the backup quarterback. Remember, Mark Brunell is sitting over there on the bench. And yet Todd Collins, they've had confidence in him to be the backup, and tonight you're finding out why. Protection, 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 though. That's really been the key here as we've gone down the stretch.
And so the Redskins get a new set of downs with just 3:38 remaining in regulation. That's Moss in motion. They'll give to Portis. And this time he does follow behind Samuels off the left side and picks up maybe 4 yards. Remember, there's only one television network dedicated to the NFL 24/7. Log on to iwantnflnetwork.com to find out how to get it. It's NFL Network, your home for football, 24/7.
And Rich and the guys will be on for the post-game show for what, 6-7 hours after?
In this cold, it'll only feel like it. We're moving down, 3 minutes left. The Bears.
By Miller Lite. For award-winning taste, there's no debate. Good call. IBM. When you're ready to stop talking innovation and start doing, call IBM.
Joe Gibbs has not lost 5 games in succession since he first became a head coach. He lost his first 5, and the team then got a win and went on to finish 8-8. He had lost 4 in a row coming into tonight. It looks like he's going to snap it right here. You take a look at their remaining schedule. They are going to go up to the Meadowlands to play the Giants. And then it's on to Minnesota to play the Vikings, and they'll finish up at home against the Cowboys. And so if the Redskins win out, do they have a chance?
If they win out?
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's a pretty tough-looking schedule, though. At the Giants, at Minnesota, the Vikings.
You don't like their chances?
They're not going to. I mean, you want me to give you an honest answer?
That's
no.
Okay. That's all I ever looked for.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I think that schedule's too tough.
In truth, these two teams here tonight, based upon the performance of the teams on their schedules this year, they are tied with Denver for the toughest schedule in the league. the Bears and the Redskins have had the hardest way to go. And so it doesn't get any easier for Washington after tonight. 3rd and 1. Greasy completes it to Muhammad on the near side. He manages to get out of bounds and stop the clock with 1:50 remaining to play.
You know, the one interesting question, though, on that schedule is,
will Dallas play?
In the last game, do they play their starters or do they rest people? So still those 2 road games awfully tough at New York and at Minnesota.
Well, get this. Fred Smoot is checked back into the ball game. After missing most of the second half, he's lined up at the top of the screen, man up on Bernard Berrien. Greasy rolling left, looking Berrien's way. He's just going for the sidelines. He'll get out of bounds, stopping the clock with 1:42 left.
Game's a long way from over, boy. If you sit around like I do in the NBC studios every Sunday and you think, well, that game's over, and then here it comes, you know, the other way. There are just so many things that can happen in a ball game like this. Even a field goal here makes it an 8-point game, and you still have a 1-possession chance if you want to take a shot at an onside kick.
The Bears still have 1 timeout. The Redskins have all 3 of theirs. Greasy to Wolf. Tries to sidestep Rocky McIntosh there, but McIntosh would have none of it. And the clock keeps ticking. We're down inside 1:30 to play. Greasy will stop it.
Garrett Wolf, not a very big guy at 5'7". Well, you know, that was Rocky McIntosh kind of just grabbed him with one hand on that one, didn't he? And
you know, I'm a Chicago.
Come back here.
I was raised in Chicago, and I had to laugh as I was looking at Garrett's bio. He went to Fenwick High School, and as a freshman, he was the Rookie of the Year. You know how big he was?
No.
4'10", 85 pounds.
Take it on, baby.
Not 185, 85.
He is obviously a stud,
4'10", 85 pounds.
Getting it done.
Played for the Fenwick Friars. Greasy throwing to the end zone, in and out of the hands of LaRon Landry. He was going for Desmond Clark. Well, that's 2 tonight. Landry almost had.
Yeah, he's had a couple of opportunities. He's learning to play that free safety position. It looked like Clark was going to have an opening for a moment, and then LaRon Landry with that great 4.3 speed of his. Remember, he was the 6th player picked in the draft this year. There's part of the reason why. And, well, you just wonder where they would be right now if they didn't draft him.
3rd and 10. We're down to 1:19 to play. Greasy steps up this side. That's Hester. A little juke gets him out of bounds. Perhaps just shy of the marker.
Yeah, I'm all for getting out of bounds, but at some point you need to dive for the marker too to make sure that you pick up that first down, because now first things first.
Who did he give the okie doke to out here? Hey, that was Pearson Prelo.
See, by taking that sideways step out of bounds, he cost his team the first down there. So now they're going to have to pick this up.
For the Bears, this is the ball game. 4th and 1. Let's see what Greg Williams has in store for them. Greasy will keep it, and the push on the right side would seem to be enough.
But the clock keeps ticking.
Clock keeps moving. Inside a minute now. They're still unpiling.
And the officials here may stop the clock as they unpile. They're just trying to get a spike off, and this thing's taken forever for them to get off the ground. Good job by the Redskins.
It exhausted a good 14 seconds at least.
At least 14 seconds. I think they were outside a minute actually when that whole mess started, and the Bears were unable to get a snap to just kill the clock.
Philip Daniels comes to the sideline. It seemed to have a bit of a leg problem. And Lovey's wondering, geez, guys, why did it take so long to unpile?
Have to take your shots in the end zone now. This has to happen here relatively quickly. You have to leave yourself time for an onside kick and a few plays after that.
2nd and goal. Greasy throws this side. That's Wolf. in and out of the arms of Sean Springs, and then he gets out of bounds inside the 5.
I like Garrett Wolf. I think he creates some cheap offense for this team that desperately needs it. You know, I don't think he's going to be a great between the tackles kind of runner, but he's a little stronger maybe than you think, and looks like extremely competitive kind of guy that wants the ball in his hands in tough situations.
We have just 37 seconds left. They've got to go to the end zone here if they're going to have any chance of even doing anything should they recover an onside kick. Greasy will throw. Tried to sandwich this one in, but it was Fred Smoot getting there. Tried to squeeze that one into Bernard Berrien.
It's one of the changes that have happened, and they're going to come out with the field goal unit here. And I think this is the right move. It's a 2-score game anyway, so you might as well take your shot here. Hopefully get the ball back, try a couple of Hail Marys.
Robbie Gould, this is just about automatic for him. This isn't much more than an extra point. It'll be a 22-yard attempt. He's made from 30 and 22 tonight. The one he tried from 48 was blocked. And this one's good. And so with that, the Bears have made it a 1-score ball game. They've climbed to within 24-16, but the clock is very much against them. Just 30 seconds left to play in regulation. Don't forget, after us, it's the Home Depot post-game show. Rich, Dion, Mooch, and Marshall will join us for highlights, analysis. We're sure they'll have some post-game interviews as well. Maybe we'll have an update on the condition of many of the players who have gone down tonight. Rex Grossman, Jason Campbell, for a time, Chris Cooley, Antonio Garay, Fred Smoot, Clinton Portis. Everybody's been chased to the sideline. Philip Daniels was the most recent one, but we've got to believe that 3 of the injuries are of the serious nature. Garay, Campbell, and Grossman.
The good news is for these players, after such an emotional time for the Washington Redskins and such a short week for both teams, they will get some time off after this. You know, you get 10 days late in the season, and that's a wonderful thing, too. They probably would get the next 4 or 5 days off, completely get away from football, have a chance to go home and grieve probably in the proper way for a lot of these Redskins, but a lot of the Bears players as well. You know, a lot of these guys went to the funeral, too.
Yeah, in fact, we had 6 Miami products out here tonight. On the Redskins side, Portis, McIntosh, and Moss. And on the Bears side, Olsen, Hester, and they had one more, but who was not dressed. That would have been Darryl McClover. And so we know the drill here. It's got to go 10 yards. Bears will try to recover it. It takes the skip, and it bounces out of bounds on the Redskins sidelines. Looked like it skipped right through the legs of Mike Sellers.
It did.
Right through the 5-hole.
I don't think it touched anybody, did it? Like right through the wickets.
Free kick out of bounds, untouched by the kicking team. It'll be Washington's ball at the spot where the ball went out of bounds. First down.
Well, that's as good as jumping on it and getting drilled. Let's see if it is indeed Sellers, and it goes right through the wickets. Here he is. Get the hands down.
You know, they kept waiting for that next bounce. You know, usually it rolls and rolls and rolls and then eventually shoots in the air. That one never did. That's a really unusual kick for an onside kick.
You were on the hands team with Cincinnati, weren't you?
Oh, I hated that team. That was the all-time worst. Well, congratulations to Joe Gibbs and the Washington Redskins with all they've endured over this past week. He found a way to piece this team back together. They came out fighting and got it done tonight.
Look at that, though, will you? They win the ball game despite losing their quarterback and despite rushing for only 31 yards. The fewest yards of a Joe Gibbs team in a ball game. 2 of the classiest men in the league right there meeting at midfield. Lovie Smith and Joe Gibbs. Oh, about as good as it gets. And how about Todd Collins as the unlikely savior of the night? 15 of 20 for 224 yards and 2 scores. The Redskins are a winner, 24-16. We'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll hear from Collins down on the field. He's with our Adam Schefter, and we'll get to it right after this.